It's on the live. It says this Hangouts on air is live.
I can't tell. I don't
This
know
ri-
if it's live.
I don't know if it's live either. Well, how about live to tape? We'll go that way. Welcome.
Okay, that works for me.
It's Scotty and Mark. It's a fun day. It's good times. Johnny P has, I think, a byte of upload and half a byte of download. So that's why he's not joining us from his plush hotel room in DC.
Yeah. He is suffering from what I like to call Mark traveling syndrome.
Interesting.
That's exactly what happens when I travel.
Just you get really craptastic internet. It's funny because the internet speed in Fort Lauderdale was amazing. It was like 50 down, 25 up. I'm like, wow, this is goddamn insane.
That's to get everyone to go to Florida. I mean, I bet Miami's hotels get really shitty Wi-Fi because they want you to go outside. But Fort Lauderdale, they don't care.
We weren't even there. We were in Plantation. So I'm pretty sure they're just like, listen, just stay in. There's geckos everywhere and there's rainstorms. We got a Publix across the street. That's all you really need. There's a Denny's right down the road.
So. Don't stray too far out.
Listen, it's Plantation. You don't know what's going to happen. And the sunrise is right across the border. And you know how those crazy people are. Shit. So how's your week been, buddy?
It's been good. It's been kind of crazy, with all the news, not personal news.
I was going to say, oh my God, are we having a pre-wedding announcement? My goodness gracious.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's not happening. Yeah, we didn't really do much over the weekend.
No traveling,
4th of July. I didn't blow any of my fingers off with fireworks.
Good.
Like it seems like half of the NFL did over the weekend. A cornerback, I think for the Cardinals, and a lineman for the Giants blew off a total of 3 fingers between the two of them with fireworks over the weekend.
That could be the most tremendous thing I've ever heard in my life.
You didn't hear about this?
No, I heard the
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, the Pierre-Paul thing. I didn't hear about the cornerback from the Cardinals.
Yeah, the cornerback from one of the cornerbacks from the Cardinals. He was the one who blew off 2 fingers.
Jesus.
So and Jason Pierre-Paul only had to have 1 amputated. So.
And then Adam Schefter tweets out the pictures of the medical report of Jason Pierre-Paul, and now Jason Pierre-Paul is without a contract and probably going to sue Adam Schefter and the people who gave him the medical records, because that's a little bit of a Hippocratic Oath thing, people.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. But what you are allowed to do is comment about how stupid people are.
Oh, absolutely.
He had so much money, and he was trying to get more money. Why? I'm an engineer. I mean, I just need my fingers to type on a keyboard. It doesn't even matter how fast I type. I could probably type with just 1 finger. Actually, I work with people who don't have all their fingers. My cube, the guy who sits right next to me in the next cube over doesn't have all of his fingers. And I still wouldn't go out there and risk blowing my fingers off. Like, my salary doesn't even depend on me having all of my fingers.
That's always good. First off, that's always good that your salary is not dependent upon the numbers of digits on your hand.
It's true. I mean, it's a perk.
It is a perk. It's a good perk. Secondly, wow, that guy must have seen some stuff if he's got a couple missing digits there. So good for him, I guess. Good old Stubby. I don't know if it's his name or not, but we'll call him that.
Herman.
Okay, well, same thing. So nothing crazy 4th of July? Did you get a hangout? Did you have a barbecue? Did you do all the American stuff?
We didn't really barbecue at all. We didn't really get to a pool at all. But we did on Sunday night cook our own hot dogs and have our own little barbecue at home.
I thought you were going to say hot dog eating contest.
No, but it's a shame Joey Chestnut blew it this year. What a slacker, right?
Come on. What was the winning score? 63?
Is that it was a new record, I think, too, right?
No, was it 104? I don't really know. I didn't really pay. All I know is there's a belt, and I don't want to eat another hot dog for like a week and a half after that. Just like, this is disgusting.
You weren't even in it, or were you?
Huh?
Was that where you were this weekend?
No, I was just having my own contests. I just went to the meat section and just ate hot dogs raw in lieu of everyone else.
I love how Bleacher Report has like a section on competitive eating.
Please tell me there's a slideshow.
It's not a slideshow, unfortunately.
Let me down,
No,
Bleacher Report.
Stoney ate 62. Chestnut only ate 60. The next closest, 35 and a half.
Still, though, third place. That's a lot of hot dog.
Matt Stoney, here are your stats, by the way.
Oh,
Matt Stoney, the new hot dog champ. Matt Stoney ate 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That's obviously an average of 6.2 hot dogs a minute. Nutritional information, that is 17,360 calories. That is 1,106 grams of fat and 48,360 milligrams of sodium.
Sodium is what couldn't kill you.
That honestly. Why even at that point? Why even bother with milligrams? That is almost 50 grams of sodium.
Well, you got to keep it scientific, I guess.
50 grams of sodium is something that you can put into a pile onto a little scale and actually visibly, you could actually see 50 grams of sodium. That's how much sodium that was.
I love his new album, 50 Grams. He just had a birthday, too. Shout out 50 cents. Sorry, not 50 grams. Whatever. Point is this. People love hot dogs. What can you say? What do you put on the
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat in
10 minutes? I have to eat the bun, too, right?
Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the hook. So we're talking regular, not the big SK Oreo Franks, right? Like the regular.
I mean, we're talking. This is sponsored by Nathan's, so we're talking just regular old Nathan's kosher hot dogs.
In 10 minutes, I could probably get down 20 in 10 minutes. I think I can do that.
So, just for reference, the 8th ranked professional in this, and I assume that's a thing. Professional.
No, they have to sign contracts and they have to send their likeness, and they're eating competitions all over the U.S. It is a thing. There is a professional eating tour.
So the 8th person ate 28 in 10 minutes. 28 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That is an average of 2. That is almost 3 hot dogs a minute.
I could probably get a wild card spot that way if we're doing NHL rules. I can get a wild card spot. 8th place. I don't think that's a big deal. I might have to train next year. Might have to train.
All right, do it up.
We'll see what I have to do. I'm going to train, and then my doctor's just like, listen, fatty, I told you not to eat anymore. What the hell's your problem?
Oh, I thought you meant eat all the things.
Oh, I thought you... Doctor, I thought weight was cyclical. If I hit a peak weight, then it'll go right back down to 170. No? Okay, well, shit. Here we are, I guess. Groovy. Well, I'm glad you had a good 4th of July.
How was your America Day?
My America Day was pretty quiet, actually. I think, I didn't do anything. I ate a salad, and that was about it, because we had our Canada Day last Wednesday when I was hocking up everything in sight. Just coughing my lungs out, as we saw in the show last week.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That was fun. But the next day, I wake up, I take some Dayquil, I'm feeling like $1 million.
They're not even paying us.
Not even paying us, so... Hey, shout out NyQuil, Dayquil, Evening Quil. So yeah, my Canada Day was also a dud. So, hey, it was par for the course. I'm just waiting for Portuguese Day. And then
when is that?
I really don't know. It'd be great if it was August or something like that. Civic holiday in Canada. Oh yeah, that's right. Random holiday in August in Canada coming up in August. We just have a random holiday. Hey, here's a stat holiday for you. Enjoy.
Why?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. I have no idea. Independence Day of Mexico, September 16th. I'll do it then. I'll have my Mexican day and I'll go eat tacos. How's that?
That sounds good to me.
That's not vaguely racist. Anyway. All right, I got a deal. I got something to talk about, Mark. I've got an announcement if people had
I got problems with you people.
I got a whole lot of problems with you people. Festivus doesn't end until one of you pin me. Anyway.
Who you starting with?
Exactly. Who, you? Is it you, Patanzo? Is it you, other Patanzo? Is it you, Leahy? Let's go. That's what we should have done in the Fort Lauderdale Beach. Just wrestle around.
You still have a belt.
I do. It's hanging up on the wall back here. See, it's right there. The joke belt that we had in Montreal that we haven't brought anywhere else. Actually, I brought it last year, and then no one showed up to this show. It was really weird and awkward. But hey, here we are. No, I will be, as announced today in a press release that I didn't expect. So I say I didn't expect, even though I helped write it or gave a quote for it. But no, I will be writing for a minor league website called The Sin Bin. You can find it at thesinbin.net. It's right down there on the lower third thing. I'm even putting that to good use. So yeah, I'll be writing for thesinbin.net. I'll be doing a lot of stuff, featured stuff here and there, whatever I can muster up. And all of that. Also, the Farm Report will be going up there as well as our Face Off Hockey Show iTunes feed as well, and the Podbean and stuff like that. And also, quite possibly this show. I don't know why this show will be going up as well for your daily dose of
this exact show, like the one that we're in right now.
This one right now, like the July 8th. That's the only show that's going to be going.
Wait,
up.
this one right now?
The one as we speak right now.
Like this one right now?
Right now, right here, right now.
Could I see it like online right now as I'm
No, you couldn't. It'll be going up later in audio only.
Oh.
So this visual is really not doing anything.
So me waving my arm.
No, it's just for us, me and you and whoever's watching us. In all honesty, that's just for our enjoyment.
When will then be now?
Soon. But yeah, I'll be starting writing for the sinbin.net soon. The guys there, Joe and Matthew, contacted me, and I'm like, hey, I'm more than happy to oblige. These are guys who came over, who did a lot of stuff in Central Hockey League, the old Central Hockey League, as it were. And then, a conglomeration of guys, Missouri Mavericks fans, Allen Americans, Wichita Thunder, Cincinnati, and then branch it off to the other ECHL teams once that absorbed, to the Cyclones, and other teams that I can't mention right now because I forgot. But But there's going to be a lot of minor league content going there. So the sinbin.net is a place to be for the minor league content. They do a great job. A lot of stuff over there, a lot of articles, stats, breakdowns, their own podcast where they have one-on-one interviews and stuff. So it's a pretty good resourceful thing there. So it's pretty cool. So go to sinbin.net, and my stuff will be starting there whenever I figure out an idea and whenever people actually get back to me on the ideas that I have. So actually, I'm calling a few favors, and yet people, it's July, you shouldn't be talking about hockey, and then I light their house on fire. Not really, but
you should write a story about that.
Metaphorically, light their house on fire, like with a bottle of rubbing alcohol and a towel, and just throw it. Molotov cocktail,
but with words.
But with a Molotov cocktail of words, sure. I'll write something on the towel, get out English scum, something like that. I really don't know, but we'll go from that. I got a couple of guys who are in ultras. I don't know what it is. I think it was the Fleer Ultras is what
nice.
they were in.
That's actually a really good band name.
That is a great band name, Fleer Ultras. Rated Rookie, I think, is also a good band.
Rated Rookie is a great one. Hold up. Fleer Ultras. Should I start with MySpace?
Yeah, go for MySpace. That's where all the music's at. Maybe do a Bandcamp. Do a Bandcamp situation, or a SoundCloud.
Let's see. There is a song called Fleer Ultra. No, Thundercat is the song. It's by the band called the Fleer Ultra is the name of the band. No. But they have a song called Thundercat, so they can't be that bad.
Hey man, they're just blending everything together. Holy goodness. Rated Rookie, there's a shirt out. There's actually a shirt out. I think it's 289 Designs. Did a shirt that had the Rated Rookie logo on it. I'm like, oh, that's boss.
There is a Rated Rookie on Bandcamp.
Jesus.
And they have an album called Unlimited. God, it's like every good band name is taken. That's why we get stupid shit like Fall Out Boy.
Well, no, that was a Simpsons reference, so I can understand that one. Radioactive Man's partner is Fall Out Boy. Radioactive Fallout. There you go.
I get it now. Well, then it's not so bad anymore.
When we were in Fort Lauderdale, I told Leahy, well, first, Johnny wanted to do a Hootie and the Blowfish cover band, which perfect. But I had, we were sitting at Lulu's, and there's a band setting up and whatever, because apparently it's live music night on Saturday nights, which, on the beach I can understand, because it was like up and down the street. It was like freaking Nashville. But I'm thinking to myself as they're doing it, I'm just like, you know what? Start a band. We're going to call it Sound Check. We're going to sound check for 30 minutes and get the hell out of there. We've been sound check. You've been great. Thanks, guys. This is our hit song called Sybilis. We're gonna slow it down a bit. This is called check 1 2. Check 1 2.
I like that. Why don't
Hey guys,
we
we gotta
actually
do.
follow through on any of these ideas?
Nope, never, never at all. All right, guys, we're gonna. This is our new song. It's called "Little High on the Low End."
That's delightful.
If I had any wherewithal, I'd actually follow through on this. But hey, I mean, I got GarageBand on the iPod, so I could probably maybe manage that.
Yeah, you can pull it off.
Maybe. We gotta get Johnny's 7 albums going though. Johnny's gonna have a box set for his first release.
That's
How great
awesome.
would that be?
Who? But no, someone actually did that. I think. I don't know. Maybe it was just a joke by the Bare Naked Ladies that they were like, no, I don't know. That would be awesome. Releasing a box set and confusing everyone.
Or it's like the old adage: your debut album's called Greatest Hits.
Yeah,
so.
I still would love to do that. I wonder if anyone's actually done that. Maybe I'll look it up.
Hey, you're right there. You're
I
right
am.
there. It's gotta put this down. Baseball card band names. Seriously, how do they get off with Fleer Ultra? That's pretty weird, man.
Mrs. Miller's Greatest Hits. A Canadian band called the Rheostatics, RHEO, called their first album Greatest Hits. Yep,
that's Dave Bedini's band who wrote a couple of hockey books, including Tropic of Hockey or Hockey of Cancer. I really don't know which one. I think it's Tropic of Hockey, where he goes to like Southeast Asia and starts playing hockey and pickup leagues around like Thailand and stuff like that. That's a really good book. So he's a pompous ass, but really good book.
But it would take a pompous ass to name their first album Greatest Hits.
It's true.
The best of the Sir Douglas Quintet, not exactly called Greatest Hits, but that was released in 1965.
Close. I'll give it to him.
The Cockney Rejects debut album was called the Cockney Rejects Greatest Hits Volume 1. And later that year, they released the follow-up, Cockney Rejects Greatest Hits Volume 2.
That's strong. That's good. Strong, boys.
See, that's close to having a full box set as your first. Let's see. A group called the Goldie Looking Chains, major label
I know
debut,
Goldie Looking Chains. I've heard of
Greatest Hits.
I think they're also Canadian. Hold on a minute. Goldie Looking Chains. And if they're Canadian, I'm just going to assume it's a Canadian thing. Oh, no, it's British. Oh, it's close enough.
It's close enough.
It's close enough. It's a hip-hop. It's white kids.
Yeah. So. The Moldy Peaches first distributed recording for Rough Trade was listed as Moldy Peaches Greatest Hits.
Nice.
I think that's it. This was brought to you by forums.stevehoffman.tv.
All right. Well, shout out Steve Hoffman.
Yeah. On Cracked.com, we also have a list of the top 5 least necessary greatest hits albums of all time. Right, number 5, Milli Vanilli's Greatest Hits.
Of course.
What do you think's on Milli Vanilli's Greatest Hits album? I got a track listing right here.
Girl, You Know It's True.
That's number 8.
Blame It on the Rain.
Blame It on the Rain is number 3.
Blame It on the Rain dance remix?
No dance. This is all regular songs. Yep. All or Nothing. Baby Don't Forget My Number. Isn't that just like this has to come? Milli Vanilli's had to have come out after Genesis made Billy Don't Forget My Number. Or Don't You Lose My Number.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby Don't Forget My Number and Billy Don't You Lose My Number. What was with bands in the 80s and their obsession with the phone numbers?
Remember, it was a time where you actually had to remember people's phone number, though.
Well, yeah, I get it, but
where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it, Mark? Can't put it in your cell phone.
Napkin, on a business card?
Yeah, because they don't
directly into your beeper?
I think I got 7 business cards in Fort Lauderdale. I came back with 1. I think it was my doctor's. It was really weird.
Too Much Monkey Business is number 13 on Milli Vanilli's.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adele's greatest hits. Now this I disagree with. I would totally buy an album. She's had 3 albums. I think that's the prerequisite for
I think 3
having
albums.
a greatest. Oh, except this came out when she only had 2 albums.
Okay, so it's side. It's both A sides.
This is like when they resell a video game as like the Game of the Year edition
Yeah.
when it's only like a year and a half old. Trying to sell, well, whatever.
Like Kingdom Hearts HD remix.
Yeah. Ooh, how many greatest hits albums do you think Master P has?
Nah. Give me. He's a pompous enough ass. I'm going to say 4.
You're right.
Oh,
That's as many greatest hits albums as Nas, as not the guy Nas, not the guy Nas. The amount of Nas in the song.
Oh,
Nah.
Nah. I got you. I'm feeling you.
4 albums. Well, technically, one of them was a No Limit Records greatest hits album, so it wasn't all his stuff.
Why do I still have an MTA ticket in my wallet?
Now, number 2, you're gonna love.
Oh God, I bet I am.
Ray Parker Jr.'s greatest hits.
Oh jeez, is it the Ghostbusters theme just constantly?
It should be, but Ghostbusters from the Ghostbusters is number 1 on this album.
Of course it is.
Number 8 on this album is the main title theme from Ghostbusters.
How?
And number 10 on this album is the Ghostbusters theme, the instrumental version.
What?
And number 12.
He can't take credit for that unless he arranged it.
And number 12 is just Ghostbusters. I don't know how number 1 and number 12 differ.
God, this could be the greatest thing ever. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Ray Parker Jr.'s
And then the rest of his greatest hits album is him covering other people's songs.
What the hell?
Disco Inferno.
Okay,
In the Name of Love.
All right. Wait, the U2 version?
I assume so. I don't know.
Or is it Stop in the Name of Love?
No, it's not. It's In the Name of Love. That would make me think it's the U2 version.
It's the U2 version.
But there are, of the 12 songs on this album, 4 of them are the Ghostbusters theme or a derivative of the Ghostbusters theme.
Ray Parker Jr. is the greatest.
I wonder how many. And apparently, this greatest hits album is $50.49 on Amazon Prime if you get the actual CD. Because I bet the actual CD is a collectible.
It's probably was printed 6 times.
I want to see if it's still that expensive.
Go for it.
The audio CD is now only $21.50. It's half price.
Okay. Well, let's.
You could buy the audio cassette for $7.41, or the vinyl is only $1. Why wouldn't you just buy the vinyl?
First off, on a sliding scale of hipsterism, we're going way like this. Those numbers should be reversed because that vinyl should be 21. The cassette you could probably bump up to 11 because the kids are getting the cassettes again. And who uses CDs anymore? Come on. I don't even have a CD-ROM on this computer, for Pete's sakes. I had to get an external one.
This is fantastic, though. Would you pay $8 for a Ray Parker Jr. Greatest Hits audio cassette tape?
If I had a cassette player, yeah.
You can get those probably on Amazon, I'd imagine.
Exactly. You know what? One-stop shop this thing.
Number 1 is Belle Biv DeVoe.
Oh, Belle Biv DeVoe. Girl's Poison.
That's about all I know.
And I only know that because they were on the Fresh Prince and they were doing it then.
So that was it. That's your top 5 unnecessary greatest hits albums.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Great list, Mark. Great list that you didn't compile.
Well, that's what I do. I find good lists of things.
Find good list. So that's what's on your business card. I think I don't even know what's on your business card. What is on your business card?
I don't have a business card.
Mark,
Who do I give my business card to?
I don't. You know, is that another archaic thing? Business card, giving out business cards.
I think so. Especially now that you can just scan your business card like a little barcode or whatever.
Screw it. Give her your LinkedIn profile. Do it that way.
Do you even update that thing?
Occasionally. Like, I'm going to update it because of the fact that I'm now writing for the sinbin.net. Sinbin.net, where all your minor league hockey needs are made.
That's true.
You like that seamless transition there?
I like that.
But no, like I've been
You
thinking
could come
about
up with a catchy theme for your. I mean, is your article going to have like a
a MIDI
Gator
file.
King, like Monday Morning Quarterback kind of thing? Is it going to have a name? What are you going
Uh,
to do with it?
I don't know what I'm going to do with. That's a good question. I haven't even thought about this. This is less than 24 hours old from stem to stern. The ink is dried on the papers, which is going to make me a multi-dollaraire. Um, maybe a multi-dollaraire. I might get paid in swag, which is perfect. I might not get paid at all, but you know what? I don't give a crap. You know why? Because I like these guys. So Matthew, good people. We didn't talk anything big, Dad. Who cares? But no, I don't even know. Like I'm tired. Like I said, I got some feelers out to some people that I want to get, and it's more of a features thing, I guess. I suppose what I want to do, at least for the summertime, and then when the season hits, then we'll just do like a whatever comes to mind kind of thing, right? So it's just like whatever I feel like, kind of basically what I would do on the blog anyway, but
Yeah.
just give it to a bigger audience and a better established fan base than what I have alone. So you put your things together and away we go.
I like it.
I like it too.
Your heads together.
Yeah, partially. I don't know. I could have a broken skull. Doctor didn't say that today. I went to a physical day, folks. Like I just got back maybe an hour ago from physical. So apparently I'm okay.
What was the overall consensus for Scotty was?
He said, "Wow, for a fat guy, you got some low blood pressure." I didn't even really say that.
Did you tell him it's all the Hardee's Monster Burgers?
Yes, I'm just like, listen, because we don't have Hardee's and the Chick-fil-A's at the airport, I don't want to drive out there. No, like my blood pressure was like 120 over 70, which is phenomenal, apparently. Heart sounded good, lungs sounded good, no lymph nodes. The boys are
no lymph nodes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm the only person there with no lymph nodes.
That's probably troubling. You should get that checked out.
No, he said it was okay. He said he's leaving that facility, so I don't know if I should trust him or not. He's moving on to greener pasture. So no, he said everything was fine. He said the boys are looking fine. My reflexes are fine. Liver and kidneys and all that are fine.
You try to grab your boys and you jump back. So he's like,
"Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Boys are good and reflexes good.
They're good. Exactly. They're good, boss. There's not a lot of room in this van, so I don't know why we're doing this here. It's really weird." Then he's like, "Here, just take this blood. Since I'm leaving, here's a blood test form. Just get it done in like the next month or so, whatever you want to do." And then
it's a test. You don't have to study for it. Just fill in whatever you'd like.
Just call them up and get something done, and then because it's weird because you have to call up and then if you go to another facility, get the blood drawn and pee test and all that stuff. So and he said, "There's no rush. You're fine. You're not in dire need of anything, so you're good to go."
That's good. That is good to hear.
I was happy. I was very happy. It was a good day. It was a good day for old Scotty, even though he didn't sleep. Didn't sleep that much. Didn't sleep at all. I tried to sleep. I got like a 30-minute nap in before the physical. And then, I was worried about just making some calls and stuff, trying to do the thing for the sinbin.net. The sinbin.net. Hey, we're the sinbin.net. I think that's I don't know if that's a catchphrase or not. It should be.
Well, if they don't have one, we'll come up with one.
Exactly. This is the sinbin.net. Hey.
It's.com. No. Is that what you were going to do?
No, but I like yours better.
Well, I don't think we can use that. I think that might be. I don't know if it's trademarked, but either way, everyone would know.
They haven't put up a cartoon in a while, so I think we're fine.
Everyone would know. We can't use that.
No, they would. No, first off, they wouldn't. I think we're the only ones who still remember Strong Bad until it like triggers something in someone's brain. So you're right. So you point to Mark.
Our entire audience remembers. That's like who our audience is. The people who remember who Strong Bad is.
That's how we got our audience.
Yeah.
Strong Bad. It's amazing. All right, I'm going to invite somebody. Mark. If you don't mind.
Bring them on. I say.
Because this is a gentleman who's close to near and dear to my heart, your heart, everyone's heart.
Is it Ray Parker Jr.?
It's Ray Parker Jr. Everybody, Ray Parker Jr. Who are you gonna call? Ray Parker Jr. Everybody, Ray, how you doing?
That works out. Who are you gonna call?
My God, if we could get Ray Parker Jr., man, like honestly,
I think we could. I think
we probably could.
If I did a quick Google search right now, I could probably get Ray Parker Jr. on the show before the end of the show.
He's doing a convention. He has to pay for it. Pay for the internet at the Red Roof Inn, and it's dial-up. I don't know if we're going to get Ray Parker Jr. on the line. San Diego Comic-Con's this weekend too, by the way. If you're a Comic-Con fan,
Is he going to be there?
I hope so. The Ghostbusters is the hottest thing going. He's got to strike while the iron's hot.
It's true.
Apparently, they're rebooting it. It's going to be all broads. So
It's going to be all. It is going to be all broads. I wonder if they're going to bring him back for, for the theme song.
just for the theme song, why not? He's not doing anything else. I'm pretty sure he's easy to get, and the royalties won't be that much. Watch the royalties be through the roof. Through the roof. And speaking of through the roof, we gotta break the bank to get this gentleman on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Lyle Richardson, SpectorsHockey.net. Lyle, bloody pal, happy Canada Day, belated to you. You there, buddy.
Believe. Thank you. It's wonderful to be back after my unfortunately enforced sabbatical because of issues. Not personal issues, business issues, but
we tackled that as a draft show, and that was
oh boy, howdy. I was so sorry I couldn't make the post-draft show, but I was bagged with a capital bagged. Just very, 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 very tired, but
here we are. We're back. You're good. You're rejuvenated. Things are going well.
Yes, they are actually. And happy belated Canada Day to you, and happy belated 4th of July, Independence Day, to both of you, and to Johnny who couldn't make it, unfortunately.
Johnny's still trying to get the hamster on the wheel.
I know. I saw with the emails. Not a good situation.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not Ray Parker Jr. by the way, but
who is really?
Yeah, exactly.
I know who is exactly. Who are you gonna call?
Very few people.
Exactly.
So there we are. Well, yeah.
Lots and lots to talk about, though.
No, there's nothing to talk about.
Nothing happened.
All right.
We're going to do an hour and a half of just talking about Ray Parker Jr. Honestly, and thinking.
And occasionally I would intersperse quips of from the movie Jaws of my favorite character Quint. Because I saw the movie last night, bits of it on AMC. Funny how AMC they could, and no, not a knock against AMC because they did great programming like Breaking Bad, but it's a shame when you put a movie on that is normally 93 minutes in actual length and it takes 2.5 frickin' hours thanks to all your commercial interruptions. But there you go.
Well, they got
those hot pockets aren't going to move themselves,
Listen, Lyle, if you want to move Totino's pizza rolls, you got to go in the Jaws demographic that late at night because there's a lot of people baked out of their minds who want some pizza rolls, and so they can act like Jaws.
Rolls. Oh yeah, baby. At 3 a.m. when you're high as a kite, there's nothing like it. Not that I know anything about that. You understand? No.
I would.
No.
All right.
Indeed.
Screw it, Lyle. We're doing this. We're getting down to brass tacks here. After we went off the air, the Washington Capitals decided, hey, screw you, Face Off Hockey Show. We're going to go on this. All right, fine, bro. The one signing, it's Justin Williams, right?
Justin Williams, yes. Not Jason, Justin.
Yes. No one's going to die here.
Thank God. Justin Williams signs a free agency, 1-year deal, I believe, right?
Yeah, 2
years.
A little bit of a pay haircut of 3.5, 4.5, 3 points.
Affordable deal.
Very affordable. And a terrific signing. I like that one. I definitely like that one. They, you say what you will about GMB in there. He done a hell of a job addressing his roster weaknesses in the past 2 years. I mean, last year it was his defense, so he runs out, spends the big bucks on Matt Niskanen and Brooks Orpik, and while we all sat around and slammed them for how much money they spent on that, turned out that worked out pretty good for your Washington Capitals. So this year turns around and gets himself Justin Williams, a guy, and we talked about this on the show before. I said I thought he'd be a great fit for the Capitals because not only can he slide in on that right-hand side, obviously, as a scorer, and he's had some measure of consistency in the last 5 years. 40-plus point seasons in the last 5. That fifth season being the lockout one, so obviously that don't count. And he's got that playoff experience as well. 3 cup rings and a Conn Smythe trophy. That's the type of playoff leadership that they could use to perhaps help them get over that hump they've been in the last several years, where they've been unable to get past the second round.
Mr. Game 7 is what they call him, so that would have helped out a whole heck of a lot against the Rangers.
Oh, hells yeah.
But Lyle, GMBM wasn't done there. He just dumped it all on the NHL the next day. TJ Oshie is your newest Washington Capital, as he gets traded from St. Louis for Troy Brouwer and Phoenix Copley, as well as a draft pick, 3rd round, I believe, for next year. Wow. Now, we had debated before the TJ Oshie, Patrick Sharp, which one you'd want, which one you take. We all were in agreement TJ Oshie was the dude, and lo and behold, GMBM makes the moves, spins the wheel, makes the deal, and away we are. TJ Oshie, another American hero, along with John Carlson.
Well, and keep in mind, remember, when we were discussing this, we only thought there was going to be one of these guys that they would get between Patrick Sharp, Justin Williams, and TJ Oshie. We thought once they got one, they were going to be done. Not GMBM. I'll tell you, in 2 weeks, this guy did more for the team than George McPhee ever did, and you can quote me on that.
we certainly will. Well, he did a pretty good job bringing in that guy named Alexander Ovechkin.
That dude fell into his lap. What was he gonna do?
I could have made that move.
I know.
Actually, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I'm trying to.
Everyone in this room would have made that move except for Mark, because he would have traded for Barrett Jackman. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
I was just making sure you guys were listening. That's all.
Oh yeah, of course. But yeah, Mark, you're right. I mean, we were all sitting down saying, out of the 3, we debated it, and who'd be the best one, and we did agree. We all agreed that we thought that TJ Oshie would be the best one. Had younger guy, didn't have a movement clause to prevent him from going to Washington if for whatever reason he didn't want to leave St. Louis.
Affordable deal.
Affordable contract. Got a couple more years left. 4.25, I believe, annually, which isn't too bad. You can, they can handle that. But yeah, boy, how did he get both? To get both, I mean, oh man, that's take your pick. And listen, I think it's going to be Oshie. Obviously, that's the leading candidate to go onto that the top line with Ovechkin and Backstrom. I wouldn't dismiss Williams out of hand, but I'm thinking that he's going to be more for that second line, playing alongside Kuznetsov.
Yep.
And who?
Johansson,
or maybe Burakovsky kicks him out of that spot. Maybe.
I'll tell you what. Has made Marcus Johansson a little expendable, has it not?
Jesus, Mark, what are you with this?
Hey, look,
the dream will never die.
I'm not lying, Lyle. I'm not lying.
I agree.
Marcus Johansson right now.
Look, they're going to re-sign him right now. They know what they've got in Burakovsky, but he's not there yet. He's not there yet. He's got the promise. We definitely saw it, in the first couple months of last season and in the playoffs when they called him up. He performed very well as an all-around player. They know what they've gotten him, but he's still not there yet. So, Johansson, listen, you sign him, you keep him for next season, see what you got with Burakovsky. You got to admit, I mean, I don't see Johansson getting a mind-blowing offer here that's going to make him difficult to move. So if Burakovsky turns into the real deal like we kind of are expecting he will become, then you can move Johansson maybe next summer. Okay? So the dream never dies, Mark. But to your point, though, even though we're joking about this and all that, and know that you have that mad love for Mojo. But
yeah, love him.
But yeah, but to your point, though, I think that it's a valid one that if Burakovsky comes along as they expect him to, Johansson could be expendable maybe next summer, not this year though.
And I envision a situation where, all right, Johansson's going to get signed. Mm-hmm. He's going to be with the team. He's going to put up some pretty good numbers, and the Caps are still going to need that third line, a proven veteran leadership center kind of guy who can make people better around him, but isn't necessarily a superstar. I can envision Johansson probably going in a deal at the trade deadline, possibly to get a guy like that for a playoff push.
Well, especially if they don't bring back Eric Fair. I think that's and I don't think he'll be coming back. It's not that they don't want him back, but we all know that Braden Holtby's going to be getting crazy mad money. And
Yeah, especially, well, we'll get to that in a little bit.
But but like I said, for the off season, listen, Capital. You want to talk about teams that were winners in this off season? Washington's definitely in my top 5 right there. For those 2 moves alone, they were fantastic. I really like as I said again, love the addition of Williams for what he brings to them in terms of playoff experience, and clutch scoring. And Oshie, I mean, yeah, he had his detractors, and in St. Louis, and it's not like they weren't justified. At least they don't write hit pieces as nasty about their departed players in St. Louis as they did to do in Toronto.
No, they just cry in closets.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a fair point that Oshie had consistency issues and kind of disappears a bit in the playoffs. But perhaps a change of scenery coming to Washington, playing for Barry Trotz, I think that could make a big difference. And come on, you're going to be your line mates are going to be 2 of the best forwards in the game today in Ovechkin and Backstrom. This guy should be able to put up 70, 80 points rather than 50, 55, 60. Playing alongside those 2 guys, I will be very surprised if he doesn't have to start putting up 70, 80-point seasons.
The only part of this deal that I didn't really like was getting rid of Phoenix Copley, just for the sheer fact that I looked at the depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Caps goaltending thing is bare.
It explains why they went after a goalie with a first-round pick and a Russian one at that. I mean, remember, we were all puzzled by it. I mean, even TSN, when I was watching the draft on TSN, and they were kind of puzzled by it too. But after making that move, we can understand why they did that.
Yeah, it's a couple years left on his KHL deal, 2-year out clause, 3 years total.
Yeah.
And Copley had a year last year filling in when Philip Grubauer was up there, 17-4-3, 3 shutouts, 925 save percentage.
But at least they're in good shape, though, at least for their top 2.
Yes.
With Holtby and Grubauer. Now Grubauer finally gets his chance full time. So, yeah.
Yep, and Justin Peters, Dan Ellis, is your Hershey Bears goaltenders.
Yes, so they're not in that bad a shape in terms of for the short term.
No.
Peters and Ellis will help them out, as you said. They're your pipeline guys if Holtby or Grubauer gets hurt, and they've got experience, so you can bring them up if you need them. So short term, yeah. Long term, yeah, that's something that's going to have to be addressed. But again, that explains why they grabbed the Russian kid at the draft.
Yeah, long term, now you have to get him over. That's the one thing. Now
well, they can listen. You could do like the Russian kid whose name eludes me from Pittsburgh. Yeah, paid $500,000 to get out of his contract. He wants to come to the NHL that badly. So perhaps the Russian kid can do the same thing. But if not, hey, he'll get some valuable playing time with professionals over in Russia for at least another year or 2. And
before the league completely folds.
Yes, as we all anticipate. Well, it won't completely fold, but it will definitely shrinky-dink down a lot.
Before the shambles of everything Russia happens.
Before it returns back to being the Russian Super League.
There we go. One interesting note. Barry Trotz doesn't think this makes his team better. Barry Trotz told CSN Washington that just because you have skill guys there, it does not equal chemistry. Basically he said on paper it looks good because of skill, but if we don't have the chemistry, it doesn't make us improve.
Well, it's a good point. That's a good point. But
one of the most skilled young talents in the league, but he was an asshole, so you can't really,
Yeah, but I think he's also just trying to do his best to just kind of temper down these just a little bit. Let's not, what he's basically trying to say is, look, yeah, this is, in Trot speak, allow me, as Key and Peele, as Obama's anger translator, Luther, let me be your Trot's translator, Lyle, to explain what Barry Trotz really means. And I got to do the hands like Luther, the anger management guy, does. And basically what he means, no, I can't talk like that guy, but as great as it would be. But what he's basically trying to do is just tamp down the expectations a bit, because yeah, you've got Oshie, you've got Williams. I mean, good God, a proven playoff performer with 3 cup rings. Oshie, crazy mad skills and all of that. Yabba dabba do. It's going to be great. Start planning the cup parade, downtown Washington or Maryland or wherever the hell you're going to have it. nah, let's just kind of keep the expectations down a little bit. I think he saw what happened last year with the signings of Orpik and Niskanen, and he's just trying to just go, okay, let's just a little more of an even keel here, folks. I mean, chemistry is important, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. I really don't think that's going to be an issue at all. Both of those guys, I think, are going to fit in well. I mean, come on. Justin Williams played for Daryl Sutter, okay? One of the most demanding coaches in the league, and he's a proven playoff guy. Plus he won a cup with Peter Laviolette in Carolina. So, I don't think that's going to be an issue there. TJ Oshie spent several years playing for Ken Hitchcock. So, again, I don't think that's going to be a significant issue. I think they're going to fit in very, very well there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's upgrades. I mean, you can't.
Gosh,
and then we just move on from there. Just play the system. Stupid.
It's sad to say that the Capitals probably haven't had a right wing signing this good since Mike Knuble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Knuble.
I mean, Knuble was a very good right wing. He's not on the same level talent-wise as any of these guys, but he was a great goal scorer and he knew his job.
And yeah, big body in front of the net, absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're right as far as talent goes, probably since Peter Bondra.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Oshie definitely. That's why I'm saying Oshie should be able to get at least 70 points a season, at least. Okay, riding shotgun alongside Ovechkin and Backstrom. Come on,
That's true. All the secondary assists he'll get.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, bing, bing, bing. I mean, this is just, as I said, I'm not a Capitals fan, but I'm excited for the Capitals because of these two moves. I think they're going to be a better team next season. I know that, there's kind of, we need the physicality and blah, blah, blah. But, they proved that as a team they could buy into that system, Yeah, you want to have physicality, but you don't want to get too wrapped up in it that much. You still need guys who are going to score. You still need to be able to address a weakness that you have in your roster. And GMBM did that, Now you've got what was a weakness is now a strength, down on the right side.
And he didn't have to give up much to do it.
Absolutely.
He didn't have to pay a lot for that muffler. You're right.
He certainly did not have to pay a lot for that muffler.
This was bandied about, I think, last week and in the weekend and stuff like that. And someone actually came up to me and asked me this. Mm-hmm. I said, listen, I'm eating a steak. How about you give me like 2 seconds?
I don't want to talk my mouth full.
It was actually the chef. He's my buddy of mine. It's really
okay.
He said, hey, is Buffalo a playoff team this year? I said, absolutely not. But then I'm looking up and down the roster, the moves they make. I'm like, it could be 10th. They may not be as bad as we think they're going to be.
Oh, look, they're not going to be. They're certainly not going to be the gong show they were the last 2 years. I mean, they are a better team. Are they a playoff team? No, not yet. Not yet. They are a lot better than they were. With Ryan O'Reilly, obviously. We'll talk about that contract later.
Oh,
I know. No, we'll touch on that. But I mean, Ryan O'Reilly, that's definitely definitely going to help them on their. I'm thinking second line guy because Jack Eichel is going to be the first line. Jack Eichel might start off on the second line. He will be the first line guy very, very quickly. And as I said, with the other young talent that they've got in their lineup and the additions they've made, they're going to be a better team. But they're not a playoff team, not yet.
I think it's a three-year plan for them to get to the playoffs.
Something like that. Well, I mean, start off in goal, Scotty, and just run us through very quickly what they've got, since I'm too lazy to pull it up myself.
All right, well, I will look at that, Lyle, and if you guys can just hold for time.
I will just ramble.
Just ramble, because, I mean, the Sabres themselves, I mean, you got to figure Patrick Kane's going to be there, too. But here's the goaltending.
No, Evander Kane, my friend. Wrong Kane.
To get that physicality for the team.
Here we go. Lyle, are you ready for this?
Let her rip, buddy.
You're going to guess none of these names. Here we are. Anders Lindbach.
No.
Okay. Matt Hackett.
Hackett's got potential, but he's not a starter yet.
He's had potential for 7 years now. Chad Johnson.
No.
No. Nathan Lewin.
No.
Linus Ullmark.
Absolutely not.
Andrei Makarov.
No.
Not yet. He's going to be.
Look, all of these names, there is not a proven starter in the bunch, okay? And right there, that is why the Buffalo Sabres are not going to make the playoffs.
Anders Lindbach is now a Coyote. So throw him off the list. Matt Hackett is their number one guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, check that. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, when did that happen? Oh yeah, that. Never mind.
First,
Yeah, that happened. That happened a while ago. Yeah, but still, the point's still the same. There's nobody on that. There is not a proven starter on that lineup. I'm sorry, and we all know it begins and ends with goaltending. Okay, that's why the Montreal Canadiens were the top team in the Atlantic Division, and when in reality they probably should have been just barely scrambling for their playoff lives. Why? Carey Price. Mr. I won 4 trophies. Look at me, with the big cheesy smile and well earned
how
too.
can we forget Robin Lehner?
Yeah. Oh, how easy can we forget? Again, not a proven starter in the bunch. I'm sorry. That does not scream to me playoff quality goaltending. Robin Lehner could be a terrific goaltender, but he's had that could be label for several years. He's had injury issues. And we talked about it at the draft, Scotty. I mean, obviously, Tim Murray knows Robin Lehner because he was assistant GM with the Senators for several years, so he knows what he's getting with him. But again, he's got to be healthy, and he has yet to prove himself as an established starter. So right off the bat, the goaltending takes them out of the playoff picture.
And the defense. You look at the defense.
Mm-hmm. A lot of promising kids. There's a lot of promise
sure.
there. Yes, a lot of promise there. But
They just
again,
Kolyakova.
yeah, I mean, good for Carlo. Hey, you got to extend his NHL career for another season. No, seriously, good on him. I mean,
I hope he enjoys Rochester. There's no way in hell he's getting in Buffalo's.
But you got to look at it again. Who's their most experienced defenseman right now? Josh Georges, am I correct?
Yeah, Georges and then Bogosian.
Well, oh yeah, and Bogosian. So okay, Bogosian definitely a quality top 4 defenseman. Still is yet, I think, to really fully establish himself as a top 2, but he could this year. He definitely has the skills. So Zach Bogosian, Josh Georges, a fading Josh Georges, sad to say, but again, Marc Bergevin looked like a genius again for trading him away last summer. I mean, even as a Habs fan, I was like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And then I looked at what happened to him, like, oh, okay, you were right.
He hasn't been the same since he ripped up his knee like 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, even then he was still playing very well, still a Warrior, but, as Marc Bergevin said, he was slowing down, and defensemen who play that physical style, they tend to wear out faster. So, he gets him off to Buffalo. Listen, he's definitely going to play his best, of course. He's definitely going to give all he has. But hell, he spent half of last season hurt, and I don't foresee any change in that status happening anytime soon. So right away, the defense has lots of promise, lots of good young defensemen there, but nothing there that suggests to me that there's nothing that measures up to the defense core of a young team like the Calgary Flames, which built up very quickly. Built around Mark Giordano, okay? I mean, there's not a Mark Giordano in that, for the Sabres to really build around, to rally around. So, sorry, nothing there.
Somebody's got to come back from the KHL, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And just looking at the rest of this roster is.
I mean, up front, the forward lines are going to be better. They're definitely going to be better. I mean, come on. Evander Kane is going to be coming in. He's got something to prove. So I think we're going to see a significant season from him. Jack Eichel, I am telling you, he is going to be a superstar. Again, overshadowed because of all the Connor McDavid hype. Ooh, Connor McDavid scored 5 goals in an Oilers rookie scrimmage. We'll get to that.
Jesus.
But oh my God!
My Lord.
Overlooked in all of that because he shuffled off to Little Buffalo there, where he's kind of being overlooked. But I'm telling you, Jack Eichel is going to be a superstar. He's the guy they're going to be really building this team around. Bringing in Ryan O'Reilly, a solid addition for their second line. That contract. Boy,
let's hear it.
I do not like that contract. I like the acquisition. I like they really wanted him. They were willing to pay top dollar. And listen, Ryan O'Reilly is a superb second line two-way center. He is. Disciplined player, doesn't take dumb penalties. I mean, hello, Lady Byng Trophy winner last year. A lot of people piss on that award because, but listen, you've got to play the style of game that he plays. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, the guy plays a rugged style of game, doesn't take a dumb penalty, hardly takes any penalties. I admire the discipline in that. Okay, this isn't just some floater or anything like that. This guy works hard, and I really like his addition. And he's what, 24, going on 25? So
Yes.
yeah, so I mean, then they've locked him down for what, 7 years, 8 years?
7 years.
7. Yeah. So you've got him for his playing prime. Terrific. But he is not worth 7.5 mil a season. I'm sorry. He is not, his skill set does not match that salary. And I'm not blaming him. I'm not mocking him, or anything like that. This is all on, and listen, if the Sabres didn't pay it, yes, somebody else would have next summer. Absolutely. So I'm not going to rag on the Sabres too much for that. But still, like 7.5 mil a season for a second-line center. Congratulations, Buffalo. You just set the market for second-line centers throughout the NHL now. It starts at 7.5. No longer is a top-line center worth 7.5 mil. No, that's gone higher. Second-line guys, a top second, a strong second-line guy is now worth 7.5 mil a season. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it?
I know. I wish there was something I could add to that, but
It's
that's
a
pretty
good
much
thing.
it. That's
It's
just
a good thing Kuznetsov got his contract when he did, huh?
Yeah.
Good thing they re-signed the kid to that 2-year bridge deal for $3 million, because if he develops as we know he's going to, as we expect he's going to, yep, 7.5 mil in about 2 years' time to keep him.
And with Kuznetsov, it wasn't even really a development thing. It was more of a acclimation thing, because he's not a kid. Honestly,
he really isn't. He's 23
a 5
now.
or 6 year pro.
Yeah, he's 23 now. He spent, he's only spent like a year and change in the NHL, but he spent several years in the KHL. So he's an established veteran. He really is.
Well, his curve is a lot less steep than.
Oh
some
man,
other,
he's
some other
gonna.
curves.
It's like I said, that young man really impressed me during the playoffs. He really turned it up, and I think that's a very positive sign going forward for him. But the point being, it's obvious he's going to be your second-line center in Washington, okay? And thanks to Ryan O'Reilly, in 2 years' time, it's going to run $7 million to keep him in Washington.
By that point, the salary cap's going to be like 150.
Not
Not
with
the NBA.
Not with the
NBA,
Canadian dollar doing what it's doing right now, folks.
What about Vegas, Lyle? Vegas.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a bit.
That money does not go towards the salary cap, my friend. That money goes directly into the hip pocket of all 30 NHL owners. That's where that goes.
God bless him. By the way, Matt Hackett no longer on the roster either. He is in Anaheim. He is an Anaheim Duck.
There we go.
So,
Okay. Where'd you pull that up, my friend?
I'm looking at NHL.com. So,
Gotcha.
They got the full list of people.
There we go.
Still
Still doesn't detract from the point that they don't have approval.
Well, no, they still have craptastic goaltending. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Craptacular.
By the way, I just want to say this: that no truth to the rumor, Jay Feaster tried to sign Ryan O'Reilly today. So
hey, listen. I agree that Jay Feaster really bobbled up big time on that whole offer sheet thing. But something, that half of the young talent that are on the Calgary Flames right now, they're his picks.
That's his
That
team.
is still his team. He built that. Okay, the foundation of that team, he built it. So he kind of sort of didn't really fully read that whole CBA thing about offer sheets, but boy, he could still pick quality talent.
No, yeah, and that's why a lot of the Flames still credit him to this day. That even Brad Treliving says that this is pretty much Jay Feaster's team. So.
Oh yeah, Brad Treliving must just be thanking to God every day, going, "Thank you for letting this job drop into my lap. Holy, look at this."
Wow, you know what? If I didn't have this job, I'd just be the heir apparent to Boston Pizza. Well,
what are you gonna
guess
do?
what? Now you got both of them, Brad.
Now you got both, Brad.
Give it up,
Go
buddy.
hard,
Go get yourself a team pitcher.
Go hard.
Any other free agency signings that jump off the page to you, Lau? I mean, it seems that the Bolesky deal, to Boston. You know what? Boston is quietly, for all the foibles they had at draft day, they're picking up some parts here and there. I mean, your Jimmy Hayes, Brett Conley may or may not fully bloom into the potential we all thought he had when he got drafted.
But they re-signed him to a reasonable deal for a 1 year, basically show-me contract. So that was good. Absolutely. Hey, they got rid of Mark Savard's contract. No more, oh, we got to wait until the day before the trade deadline and try and or before the season starts to try and go on LTIR now. I was like, nope, that headache's gone. It's funny. About a week ago, I was on Boston radio and we were talking about this, and what Don Sweeney is basically doing right now is he's paying for the sins of the financial sins of his predecessor. Because listen, I think Peter Chiarelli is a hell of a GM. I don't think he deserved a lot of the flack that he got, or to be run out of Boston on a rail the way that he was by Cam Neely and Mr. Jacobs Jr. there. But to be fair though, he did overpay some of these guys, and he put his team into some cap hell, let's face it, for not one season, but two. So Don Sweeney has the unenviable task of trying to dig out of that mess. That's why he wound up not getting necessarily the type of quality return you would have expected for a kid like Dougie Hamilton, who they definitely did not want to lose, but they had no choice, and they were up against it going into the draft. So there you are. He doesn't really get anything that's going to help improve the Bruins this year. I really don't see it. I mean, listen. Hayes, I think, is going to be a terrific addition. He could probably get into that power forward role now that Lucic is gone. I think that's what they envisioned for him. But it's going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a bit of time for him, to fill that role. The additions that he got, most of the players that he got back, they're going to help them down the road. If those draft picks and those prospects can develop into quality players for the Bruins, then yeah, they'll be winners of this long term. But in the short term, these moves do nothing to help the Boston Bruins for next season. They're not a better team than they were a year ago. They don't have Lucic. Say what you will about him, but he was a reliable player there in Boston. They knew what they had in him. Okay. Jimmy Hayes, well, you kind of have an idea, but you're not sure what you're getting, right? Matt Bolesky, listen, on the one hand, and this is the whole thing of how it's caught, why the Bruins management situation is so complex. It can be boiled down to just looking at the Bolesky deal. On the one hand, got him for less than dollar-wise than what a lot of people were expecting. I mean, there was talk that kid was going to get 4.5, 5, maybe 5.5 mil a season on a long-term deal. They got him for 3.8 mil a season. Excellent. Sign him for 5 years. Yeah. Ideally you sign him for 3. Realistically, you would get him for 4, 5. If he turns out to be just a one-hit wonder, that contract suddenly becomes onerous. All of a sudden, it's not, oh, what a reasonable deal at $3.8 million. Now it becomes, I can't believe we got $3.8 million tied up in this fucking guy for another 3 years.
Well,
that's what it becomes.
Absolutely, it does. But do you think that's what they had to give to him if they wanted to get him at that price?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. The only reason he was going to accept less than $4 million is if you made it a 5-year deal. That was the only way. That's why I said, ideally 3, realistically 4, 5, is what you actually ultimately had to do it, and you kind of hold your nose when you do it. It's a gamble by Sweeney. If it works out, he's going to look like a friggin' genius. If Bolesky, carries on being, maybe a regular 25, if he becomes a regular 25, say 30 goal scorer and can play well in the playoffs as he did this past year, then yes, everything's sunshine and roses for them. But if it turns out that he's just a 1-year deal, this is right up into David Clarkson territory then, and we all know that doesn't end well.
I was going to say John Chichu territory. But
yeah,
Clarkson works.
Yeah, but it's not as bad. John Chichu, that was a Rocket Richard trophy winner there, so you got to kind of understand that one. But yeah, this is a 22 goal scorer, so just
not quite as bad.
Not quite as bad.
Speaking of John Chichu, I'm looking up and down here. Outside of Joel Ward, the San Jose Sharks have been very quiet, which I find.
Hey, they brought in Paul Martin too.
That's true. Yeah, Paul Martin.
And they brought in Martin Jones.
Amigo, and then went out and got
Marty Jones. You're right.
Marty Jones.
But I mean, it's almost like they're under the radar, and I think that's the best spot for them.
Oh God, yeah. You're right, Scotty. Well, after all that friggin', soap opera of last year, which of course it all started with that playoff collapse against the Kings. And then the whole thing, we want to try and trade Joe Thornton, we want to try and trade Patty Marleau, and they just basically, screw you, no movement clause, ironclad, we're staying, up yours. Up yours, Gumshoe. But anyway, so yeah, I agree with you. This is definitely a summer to keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. But I will say this, though, the Paul Martin deal, I like the addition. I like the additions of Paul Martin, Joel Ward, and bringing in Marty Jones. But there's a bit of the downside. And I'll start with Marty Jones. Not a proven starter yet. Okay, so essentially they're going into next season with two backups. Two guys who want to be starters. And of course it's Alex Stalock is the other one that I'm referring to, but they haven't proven it yet. Remember, a year ago, Stalock was envisioned as, the heir apparent to Antti Niemi. He was going to be the guy who was going to take over and make it easier for them to trade Niemi at the trade deadline, and it didn't work out that way. So, Marty Jones now he's got a good pedigree. He looked good playing for them for Canada, at the World Championships as well. Had a couple of good games there, but we don't know if he's going to be a proven starting goalie. So they're going in with two backups who aspire to be starters. Paul Martin's, I like that addition to their defense. The salary isn't unreasonable, $4.85 million, but it's 4 years. You've invested 4 years into a guy who's turning 35 in March. That's a bit long. That's a bit much. I think you're going to get 2 good years out of him, and then after that becomes the inevitable decline. So hopefully he can help them turn around and buys them some time for some of those younger defensemen they have to really develop. Joel Ward, we all know what they're getting in Joel Ward. I think that's a good addition as well. Again, though, it's a 3-year deal. The money's not unreasonable. The salary's not unreasonable at all. It's just a slight pay bump over what he was making before. But I'm, 3 years for a guy who's also turning 35, still a little long.
A little rough, yeah. It's a longish deal.
They got older. I'm not sure necessarily better. Maybe better, but they definitely got older.
Doug Wilson went on Merrick vs. Wyshynski, good buddies of our podcast here. And he said that we're a tomorrow team. This is a phase that this organization has never gone through in the past and maybe should have gone through many years ago. So,
and whose fault is that, Doug?
That's Todd McClellan's. No, sorry, wait.
Wait, no, sorry.
It's anything else jumping off the page at you, Lyle, before free agency, before we move on?
Very, very quickly, Michael Frolik going to Calgary.
Yes.
Like that move. Term's a little long, but I do like that addition. I think he addresses that. Again, another team that had issues on right wing. Bring him in there on the second line spot behind Yuri Hudler. I like that addition. Mike Green to Detroit. I think
he's out, buddy.
I think it's a good addition, but I don't like the salary. The term is good, 3 years. $6 million a season. He hasn't been a $6 million defenseman in a long time. So I don't like the dollar amount to it. And I think they're going to be hoping that he's going to go in there and maybe be a top pairing defenseman again. You're going to be hoping that he becomes a good second pairing defenseman. I think that's what the reality is going to be there. Let me think. Sean Matthias to Toronto. That one's one of those under-the-radar ones, but I like it. Sean Matthias, very good two-way forward. He's got good size, 6'4", 225, moves very fast. He's versatile, can play on the wing or center, and he's got decent scoring touch. 18 goals last season as a third-line forward. So I like that addition for Toronto. Real quick, thinking, processing. Francois Beauchemin to Colorado. What the hell, man? Sorry, listen, Bosch, terrific guy again with Anaheim, but 35 years old. You're committing 3 years, and you're looking at expecting him to keep playing top pairing minutes. Maybe he does next year, but he's also going to a different system, one where the defensive system is. You got that? No, you got that? No, you got that? No, if you got that? Yeah, a defensive system that really revolves around kind of like what they have in Montreal. Carey.
There we go.
There you go.
5 goals in a game is great, Lyle. However, 5 goals in an exhibition development camp with the greatest junior player on earth against other junior players probably is a bit blown out of proportion.
Oh, hell
Especially
yeah.
the fact that Connor McDavid is just making a mess out of this development camp, and everyone is messing themselves on the sheer fact just because it's Connor McDavid. Now, I'm not one for hyperbole, because it could be the greatest disaster in sports media journalism since Lucky Lindy crashed the Spirit of St. Louis into Amelia Earhart's plane over the coast of Hawaii.
And that's pretty big.
And that's
Pretty
pretty big. That's pretty damn big.
We're
While,
big.
while searching for the Loch Ness Monster, might we add. Yeah. Okay, look, I understand why they're so hyped over this kid in Edmonton. Definitely understand it. Hell, if he had been drafted by Montreal, I'd be walking around with a permanent heart on. Which, being a small white guy, nobody would notice. But regardless, I get the excitement about Connor McDavid. Yes, he's a generational player. He's probably going to help turn this franchise around. Absolutely. But we're not even talking practice.
We talking dev camp.
We talking dev camp, okay? 5 goals in dev camp, all right? In a dev camp game. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like I posted on Twitter. I said, good. Hey, good for him. 5 goals, good. But I'll be more impressed if he can pull that off in an NHL game, playing against real NHL defensemen who are out to hit him against a quality NHL goaltender. Okay? Then I will be sitting down going, God damn, did you see that? Son of a bitch. No. Right now, come on. Let's just dial it back a little bit. Yes, it's exciting. I get it, Edmonton. But just rein it just a little bit in. Just a little.
Half these kids are going to be back in junior, the other half are going to be in Bakersfield. So
yeah, exactly. The only kid in that lineup, except for Leon Draisaitl and Darnell Nurse.
No.
Those two will also be on the roster next season.
Oh,
but
absolutely. But
all the rest, yeah, as you said, back to junior or down to Bakersfield, and that's that. Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nurse are the only guaranteed roster slots. And like you said, 5 goals against inferior talent here right now. That's the same in every development camp. I'm sorry, but it's in every development camp. It's not NHL caliber talent you're doing that against. I mean, even 5 games in a preseason game, I might sit down and go, good for him. Was there actually some decent defense and a decent goaltender he was facing in that preseason? It's like, okay.
True, yeah.
But not dev camp. Sorry, that's just a little much. Just dial back just a little. Just a little.
Much.
You can be excited, yes. Be excited, but just a little. Pull it back. Don't want that horse getting away from you now. It's not American Pharaoh you're on there now. Come on.
True. It's very true, Lyle. But hey, man, there could be another whole thing of people you have to go against, because when Las Vegas gets the expansion team, when Las Vegas pays $500 million for this expansion fee, not including the $1 million application fee. Holy Jesus! And
the $2 million finder's fee, and the parking and concessions, and the NHL. I know that the mob hasn't been running Vegas now for a long time.
At least 3.
The NHL took some lessons, I think, from Gary Bettman must have been sitting down watching Casino like a dozen times, because damn, this is a hell of a shakedown. God,
listen. The thing is that if you can, you might as well strike while the iron's hot and people want.
Oh, exactly. I mean, listen.
Might as well.
It's the free enterprise system at work, ladies and gentlemen. It is. If somebody's willing to
blame it that people in Seattle and Quebec City are jerking it in the worst way without any lube.
Yeah.
And they're just
hell yeah.
making it go and just making the game stop if they want. But why not strike while the iron's hot?
Exactly. I mean, listen, $500 million for a franchise, it's ridiculous. It's like, come on, really $500 million? Okay, 200 I could see, maybe 5. Shit, man, come on. But hey, whatever, fine. If people are willing to pay it, they're willing to pony up the big bucks for it. Who are we to complain? I know the other 30 NHL owners aren't complaining, because all that money goes right in their pocket. That's where it's going. I think maybe a little bit gets kicked over to the NHLPA. I think that was something they discussed in the last CBA about expansion fees. I didn't pay too much attention to it back then because 3 years ago that seemed like a friggin' pipe dream. But
And here we are.
here we are. Oh, Vegas is a lock. Vegas is happening. Las Vegas is happening. And there's going to be an NHL team there too. Yeah.
Lyle, I hear this, and this is actually there was a quote that Gary Bettman had after the press conference. I'm surprised it wasn't more made note of. He said, "This is a throwdown, a showdown. Hell no, I can't slow down. It's gonna go down.
Oh, hells yeah.
Go on and break
Hells
down."
Hells
Okay, party people in the house, may I have your attention, please? In the moment, the beat will be played in many parts. Come on and break many parts. I don't know why he said it that way.
That's
I don't
our
know
GB.
why.
That's our GB NHL GB playing it gangsta style. Yeah.
Hey man, you gotta get a little, let your backbone slide. A little
Yeah.
Maestro Fresh West.
A little
in there.
Fresh West in there.
Yeah, might as well.
Canadian rappers. Yeah. All the
Yeah.
Canadian rapper in the house. Better than snow.
You know what's funny, Lyle? When we were in Fort Lauderdale, we forgot to tell you this. We were scanning through channels and couldn't find a goddamn one. And Wyshynski had the same problem. He's like, I'm still waiting for one. It's been like a day. But the first song that we heard that came in clearly was Snow's Informer.
Oh God.
As we turned the car on in the Hertz rent-a-car parking, they're like, all right, we got to change this.
Oh my God. Woo.
So yeah, it was that was made the weekend.
Oof. Well, I thought it made the weekend was with the highway blockage and anyway.
Yeah, well, these things happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, but the real question for me is not so much about Las Vegas. It's Quebec or Seattle. And listen, Quebec I think Quebec's got the strongest legs to stand on here. They've got a ready-made arena. Okay, they've got a media conglomerate that's willing to pay the big bucks. But again, the problem is you're going to wind up with too many teams in the Eastern Conference. So somebody's got to move. And, if they're not, at some point, what do you do? I said I think the ideal situation for Bettman, I think he probably dreams of this, would be, okay, Vegas and Seattle get expansion teams. Florida folds, and you move them up to Quebec City. And there you are. I think that would be the league's dream scenario. Yeah, exactly.
Here's the dream situation right now, if I may.
If you, please.
You may.
The Milwaukee Bucks do not get their arena in
Ooh.
downtown Milwaukee,
Ooh.
and they move to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then Seattle gets their hockey team.
Absolutely. Excellent point, Scotty. That's right. The Milwaukee Bucks don't get that home arena. Oh, because let's face it, that's what Seattle really wants. Tell us what you want, what you really, really want. I want an NBA team. That's what they want. It's the
They
NHL
want their team back because
the
their
NHL
team's good.
Exactly. Well, they want the Sonics. They want a Sonics reborn. They would also take an NHL team, of course, but that's totally secondary. Totally secondary. They want the NBA back. So they get the NBA franchise, and now here comes, okay, now we'll do an NHL thing too. Yes.
Yeah.
So
the Milwaukee Bucks situation is one that's going to be monitored by the NHL very, very closely.
yes. Yes, it will be, Kent. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. $500 million expansion.
Wowzers.
That's
But you notice how Bettman is just kind of saw pedaling this thing, kind of, it's almost like pulling teeth with the guy about all of this. I think it's like he's afraid of. I think he's like having flashbacks to the '90s when people were bitching at him because the league was expanding too fast. Even though most of the teams were already in place by the time, or were about to be in place by the time he took over as commissioner. Regardless, he caught all the flack for it.
And they're not expanding fast enough now. That's the problem. They're not expanding fast, even though there's people in Kansas City who say, "I don't want this team. I don't know why are you writing this article."
They don't, but they don't have
team.
owners though. But they
No one
don't
wants
have
owners.
They've
Yeah,
got an
exactly.
arena. They don't have an owner.
And no one there wants to even try to jump at it. That's the funny part of it. No one gives a shit. it about hockey.
Well,
or
it's,
about NHL.
well, it's like they said. Was like they said, 500 million. That's a joke. They said
Yeah.
that's ridiculous, and I agree. It's a ridiculous price.
And
I
they're not
applaud.
gonna
I
run
actually.
the building either.
I applaud them for their restraint, to tell you the
Yes.
truth, because there are cities that are again gonna fall all over themselves, willing to pay for it. It's like, are you really thinking this through?
But they
But
also own
regardless-
the arena or have a better lease than the arena than AEG would
Yeah.
give them. Plus,
Oh,
they got
absolutely.
They got a team right up the road in Independence, the Missouri Mavericks. If you want,
But,
your hockey fix that has a pretty big name, because Lamar Hunt Jr. who
Well,
is
about
the-
St. Louis.
Yeah, well, then whatever. The United
I'm sorry. You were. I didn't mean
worried
to.
about their baseball team, Lyle, and hacking into other teams'
exactly.
computers.
Hacking in the Houston Astros, man. I mean, how, you
Look
know.
at the Astros, though.
But,
Look at
well, there you go. Maybe there was a reason why they wanted to hack in.
Yeah,
well,
look at them,
former management guy, that's all.
Yeah.
Quite an interesting story about that in Sports Illustrated recently. I was just reading that. I was like, oh shit! I didn't realize that it was a former member
Yeah, it
of
was
the
their- it was
management who did
yeah,
that.
it was their former upper management, and he went
Yes.
to get a GM job for the Astros. Yeah.
I mean, I had read that. I heard all about the whole hacking thing and da. I was like, oh shit, no, that's serious. And then, well, yeah, look at Houston doing well. Yeah. But then was like, oh my God, it's a former manager. Holy shit. But I'll tell you, but back in the NHL expansion thing for a minute. It's just, I really want to see a team in Quebec City. It's just, God, I don't know how they're going to be able to make this work because of the imbalance that's going to put between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. That's the only thing that's a problem. That's an issue. It's you can't move Columbus back to the Western Conference. You can't move Detroit back to the Western Conference. Okay, you've already put them in the East. It's done. Okay, and especially Detroit. Illich will fight that to the death. No way. But God, I'd love to see Quebec, the Nordiques back in Quebec. Because any franchise you put there, if it's expansion or relocation, you have to call them the Nordiques. Same as you call, you had to call the Winnipeg franchise the Jets. Again, you had to. You just had to.
Mhm.
And God, to see that rivalry again, that blood feud restarted again with the Montreal Canadiens, that would be fantastic hockey. Absolutely fantastic. Actually, fantastic. But again, it's that imbalance between the conferences. I don't know how you can make it work unless, as I said, my original scenario of, okay, expansion teams in Vegas and Seattle and a relocated Eastern team like Florida up the road to Quebec City. That's the only way I see it.
But hey, Florida's in good hand. Oh God.
Well, because Arizona, if the Coyotes move, I definitely think they want to keep that. That's either Vegas or Seattle, baby.
Yeah.
Vegas or Seattle for sure.
For sure.
Not Quebec City.
No, heavens no.
Sorry, not gonna happen.
The hell was I gonna say? At least Florida's got a nice arena. That is a nice arena. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I was impressed by the footage I saw.
The
That
seats haven't been used.
the footage I saw when Johnny shot it was fabulous. No,
I'm
but
sure
they
the
were.
seats are really comfortable because they don't get much use.
Yeah, and it's in an area that's not high traffic. There's a lot of condos around. There's a lot of
Plenty of parking around the stadium.
All the
Yeah.
parking.
Wow, but it was like I was admiring Johnny's pictures of inside outside the arena of the venue. I was like, damn, that's a nice spot.
Yeah, they got a nice plaza out in the front, and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
very
Has
nice, very nice.
concourse and,
Now if the team will, you know what? But you know what though, with Florida,
better.
all it's going to take is for that team to win consistently. I'm telling you. They are so close right now. They are this friggin' close. I think that this season coming is going to be a very good year for the Florida Panthers, because with the young talent, that team is bursting at the seams with good young talent, and I really think they're going to be a team to watch this coming year. And when they start winning consistently, the crowds are going to come back because they prove they can support a successful team there. They proved it in the past. A winning team back in the 90s, they sold the building out. It was their old building, but they sold it out every time.
and it was in downtown Miami.
Yeah, but still, they sold it out, and I have and look when they made the playoffs 3 years ago. Sold the building out, in the playoffs. So I'm telling you, this is a market that can sustain an NHL franchise. It's just got to start freaking winning. And with the talent they've got now, that's why I'm like, okay, Dale Talent, don't make any other moves. Okay, Riley Smith, I like that move. You brought him in. That was fine. Okay, yeah, he gave up some size with Jimmy Hayes, but I think they can get away with it. They've got enough depth in their pipeline; they can get away with it. Riley Smith will be a good addition for them on right wing. But as I said, I mean, geez, you know, because Roberto Luongo was still a top quality goaltender. He proved that last year, you know, and he's happy there.
Yes.
You know, I mean, God, Aaron Ekblad, I was so happy to see him win the Calder Trophy because I really didn't think it was going to go to him. He was my pick to get it, but I really thought it was going to go to Johnny Gaudreau. And you know, nothing against Johnny Gaudreau, you know, exciting player, but I really didn't think that they were going to pick him, and he definitely deserved it. They've got this is a franchise defenseman they've got. And this guy is going to be patrolling that blue line if they're smart for 15 years and be a top quality guy. They've got lots of good young talent up front. This is a team that can win. It's just they just got to put it all together.
And there lies the hardest part. Putting it all
Yep.
together.
Yep.
Putting it all together. What do you make of this Mike Richards situation? What is going to be the aftermath of this whole ordeal? Obviously, for those who didn't tune in last week or have been living under a rock, terminated contract due to some mishaps and whatever they say in the contract agreement or in this player deal that's embedded in there one way or another. RCMP is involved and all this other garbage.
He hasn't been charged with anything.
No, they're involved
Allegedly.
in being under investigation. Allegedly, some things trying to cross the border. But-
OxyContin.
Well, we're not.
That is what he is.
I am not an expert.
Oxycodone pills.
I am not an expert, Lyle. I am just saying I'm going to let them do their work.
Oh, of course.
But he's guilty. The problem is, is that obviously when you look at this and then you look at other situations the Kings have put them or have had put upon them with the Jared Stoll was an expiring contract, so it really didn't matter. But the Slava Voinov thing, where now he gets 90 days in jail, and that whole garbage, and how they haven't canceled that contract yet, I have no goddamn clue. But I guess first off, question first is how is the Richards situation going to play out in terms of civil suits, lawsuits, or whatever kind of filing grievances and all that. And secondly, how much flack is Dean Lombardi going to get if he doesn't do something about Slava Voinov the same way he did Mike Richards for a much more harsher crime?
Yeah, well, to your first question, I mean, you know, we need to be clear. I mean, what it was is he was apparently an incident at the border. He is in possession of oxycodone pills, which of course is a form of OxyContin. Now they're a prescription drug. It's a controlled substance. He was under investigation, but was not being charged, and I seem to recall reading that no charges were forthcoming or were pending. So this may just be a thing of he was stopped at the border. Either he had the pills or his traveling companion had them. And I think it was just trying to sort that out. But this ties into the whole thing here of does this explain Mike Richards' decline? Is it because does he have a prescription pill problem? Does he all? I mean, all of this came up. I mean, when all of this happened and you heard OxyContin floating around, a lot of stuff on Twitter is like, well, this explains everything. This explains, he's a drug addict. We don't know that. Okay, if he's taking these under prescription and doctor's orders, okay, this could be, again, it's a very powerful painkiller. But, perhaps this is an innocent sort of thing. But again, if it was, then why all of a sudden did they turn around and terminate his contract? And what was interesting is that this came up so quickly because on the first day of the draft, the Kings were trying to trade Richards to Calgary or Edmonton. They were actually talking to both of those teams. This came down, they got wind of this, they got news of this on the draft floor and immediately contacted the Flames and Oilers and said, listen, this is happening, let's shut this down right now. No further discussions right now, okay? So good on Dean Lombardi for that, though he would have had to have anyway, because if it had come out that he had prior knowledge of this and traded him anyway, I mean, oh my God, it would have been a nightmare. But it's going to be very interesting to see if they're going to be able to substantiate this. I mean, the PA is still investigating it to determine if there are legitimate grounds for terminating the contract. If they and that's what I'm waiting to find out, because if they come back and say we're not going to contest this, oh boy, yeah, then this could be a sign of maybe an indication of a larger problem, which would kind of lend credence to, Maybe there's an abuse issue there, because obviously, look, his fondness for alcohol was well documented back in his Flyer days. He liked to party, he and Jeff Carter back in the day. Of course, Jeff Carter has gone on and played wonderfully for the LA Kings since the trade, and Mike Richards has steadily declined. I think there's a lot of different issues here going on with Mike Richards than just any one thing, and I don't think the full story has yet come out. But as I said, if his contract is terminated, I do think that there would be some NHL teams that would be willing to talk to him and say, okay, look, what's the story behind this? And maybe they might consider signing him to a cheap 1-year deal to say, okay, look, we'll give you a shot, because the NHL history is rife with that. We think, oh, well, that's it, player's career is done, and we've seen that there's always a general manager somewhere who's willing to take a chance on a guy. So I wouldn't fully say that if it turns out that the Kings were justified in terminating his contract, that means it's the end of Richards' career. But it's going to raise a lot of issues if the PA decides not to contest it. So, and now, do you want me to talk about the Voinov thing?
If you feel like it, if you're up to it. I mean,
yeah, well, I'm up to it.
It's a situation.
Well, and that, as you said, and as more than several people have pointed out, I mean, that was a more serious situation. It's assault. It's spousal abuse, and you keep the guy. Why are you not terminating his contract? And it comes down to the fact that they're looking at it, and Mike Richards, declining value player, Slava Voinov, still has value to us. We don't want to lose him. But boy, that sends out a piss poor message. It really does. You can hear it. Oh, so you're willing to keep the wife beater, but you kick the druggie to the curb. I know, and that's how crude it will be. On Twitter, that's what it will be in a summation. You kick the druggie to the curb, but you kept the wife beater. So, and Slava Voinov is not out of the woods yet with this thing. I mean, yeah, he gets 9 days in jail. He's got to do, I think it was 100 hours of community service or something like that, or 20 hours, I'm not sure. But the big one is 3 years probation. And now we're talking some immigration issues. Is this going to affect his work visa? Because if it does, it means he can't play in Canada. He can only play in the United States. And it's, he could still be deported to Russia for this. Do I think it'll happen? No, I don't think it'll happen. I can't see, the U.S. immigration really having a hard-on over this and deporting him. But it could create difficulties for him in terms of where he can play. And again, not to mention, it's, no pun intended, a black eye for the organization, because, yeah, you've kept a guy that's been convicted of spousal abuse. Well, he wasn't convicted. I'm sorry. He pled no contest. Okay? Big difference. He copped a plea. All right? But it still doesn't send a very good message, and that's something Dean Lombardi's going to have to answer to at some point, if not necessarily from the league. He's going to have to answer to it from fans, because that definitely is going to leave a sour taste in the mouth, especially for some Kings fans, not just different fans around the league, some Kings fans too.
Yeah, it's quite the situation right now, and I like the Mike Richards thing, obviously it was the buyout thing, and then, hey, this falls into your lap where you can terminate his deal. So, whatever.
Certainly opportunistic.
Yeah, very, very. It kind of happened. It's like they almost planted a guy in the board.
But you notice, though, they're not exactly running out to spend all that money, that extra money right away, are they?
Oh, no.
That cap space they cleared up. I think they're anticipating, that there could be an issue. Now, if the PA says, okay, we're not going to contest it, he's going to be spending like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, okay, I got to replace this guy here, and I got to resign this guy and this guy.
Bobby Mack brought up a point about cap recapture when it comes to...
Yeah, salary cap recapture. Flyers don't pay anything. Right. Flyers won't be paying anything on that. It's entirely the LA Kings that are going to be paying the cap recapture penalty. So they actually get something like, I think it's between $4 and $4.5 million in cap space is what they get, because his actual annual salary was $5.75 million. But you factor in the cap recapture penalties, which I think are over 1.2 or 1.4 mil a season. So you have to, So that gets tagged onto it. So instead
Okay.
of 5.75 million cap space, it's 4 million change.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to figure that whole thing. I didn't know. I couldn't remember the cap recapture. I knew that was a thing,
Yeah.
but I didn't know
I'm
how
still looking for. I think one of the new salary NHL salary cap sites. I think one of them has a cap recapture calculator, but I'm not sure. This is where I really miss Cap Geek. God
Yes.
rest Matthew Weist. Because God love you wherever you are. Because yeah, you were. There would have Cap Geek would have been invaluable this summer. Holy
Yes.
jumping! Absolutely.
Nick Backstrom, story coming out about him. Nerve damage in his elbow, which makes him not be able to feel his hand, which is, for a goalie, as Mark, you might want to test this, using your hand's pretty crucial in playing goaltender, is it not?
Makes it way easier to save really hard slap shots when you can't feel your hand.
Okay, you know what? That's.
But how do you know if it hit it? How would you know if it hit it?
You put a beeper in the glove. Something that makes a sound.
Let's
No.
leave
We already
it.
talked about Mike Richards. What about the Nick Back? So Backstrom doesn't know if he's going to play anymore. Apparently, he told MTV3 in Finland, which apparently doesn't play music videos either. But
No, that's the sports coverage.
yeah, exactly. It's really
Yeah.
weird. It's all rock and jock all the time. Dan Cortez runs that channel. Basically said he doesn't know where his thing is. But let's be honest. They're just playing out the clock for him, aren't they? Like it's just all right. Let's get this over with next.
Well, they
week.
wanted to buy him out. They wanted to buy him out, but of
Yeah.
course the surgeries prevented him from doing so. Now, if he can't play, they could put him on LTIR, but because he's a plus 35 contract, I don't believe they will be getting any. No, they do. I'm sorry, they do, because Chris Pronger was a plus 35, and the Flyers
Yes.
were able to put him on. So yes, they do. My bad. Yes, they do. So they could get some cap relief by placing him on long-term injured reserve if he can't play. And I think at this stage right now, that's probably Chuck Fletcher's probably sitting there, no offense, going, Nick, I love you, sorry, buddy, but I'm really hoping you can never play again. Because we need the cap relief, brother. Well, no, he's not saying that. I'm a horrible human being.
Well,
But that's what I'd be
he's-
saying if
he's
I was
still
in his
getting
shoes.
paid.
'Cause I'm a horrible human being.
I mean, these players have insurance and stuff, so I mean, he'd
Oh
still get
God,
paid.
yeah,
He'd still be fine.
Backstrom is going to be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey,
still,
he'll be all right.
he won't starve to death, but no, still, scary thing. You can't feel your arm.
Right.
Nerve damage in the elbow. I mean, they'll do some work on that, obviously. But in terms of playing career, his playing career was done 2 years ago. But because of multiple injuries, they could never buy him out when they wanted to. They wanted to buy him out last year on their last cap compliance buyout, and they couldn't because he was injured.
Now,
So.
You know what? That should have been allowable. They should have allowed that.
But
Southern
there you go.
judge. Like a
The
Southern
CBA
judge.
is a
I'll allow it,
merciless
man.
bitch. The CBA is a merciless bitch.
You know what, Chuck Fletcher? I'll allow it, but you better be on to something, boy.
Yes, sir, boss hog.
Should the Anaheim Ducks coaching
Yes.
staff and GM be concerned that Dave Nonis was hired as a special consultant, Paul McLean is an assistant coach, and Dallas Aikens is now their AHL affiliate coach? Is Bruce Boudreau, first off, we all know Bruce Boudreau is probably on the clock, but is Bob Murray also on the clock too?
No. Bob Murray's job is safe. It's Bruce Boudreau. Yeah, yeah. If you're bringing in a former Jack
Two
Adams
former
winner. Yeah, 2 former coaches, and one of them's a former Jack Adams winner. Yeah, you're probably sitting there going to be looking over your shoulder. But Bob Murray's done a fantastic job managing the cap and drafting and all that happy stuff with the Ducks. So his job's safe. Boudreau, better win, buddy. That's all I can say. You better get these guys. Into the old Stanley Cup final there. At least make the Cup final.
Yeah,
final.
exactly. It means
Well, that's
get
it. That's
there.
all he has to do.
That's
to save
all
his
you gotta
job.
do. That's all you gotta do.
Get there.
Get to the Cup final, kid, and your job is safe.
Get there and you're fine.
Easy peasy. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. Let's see. Everyone does it. Come on. Come on. What are you, a jerk, Bruce? Come on. Don't be a narc. Don't be a
So
narc.
he's been throwing all of his games all year. For his entire career, he's never
He's
made
been
it past
Chicago.
the big game.
He's been Chicago Black Sox. It's the 1919 Black Sox. The fix is in. Charlie Sheen's going to play him in a movie. It's going to be great. All right, 9 Men Out. Nothing. All right.
I never saw it. Sorry.
You never seen? Well, you ever
You
seen
never
8 Men
saw
Out?
Eight Men Out? That's an awesome movie.
That's a
Never
great
saw it.
movie.
Oh man, John
Oh.
Cusack.
DB Sweeney,
Yes. Yeah.
DB Cooper, I think was also in that movie.
Yes, he was the
And all the
missing
money
ninth
stole?
man. Yeah. But no, that's a terrific movie.
Yeah,
Mark,
you
you get a chance to watch it, check it out. Seriously, it's very
See if
good.
we can get that on
We'll have to do
Netflix. Really good movie. Charlie Sheen's in there. It's great.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen back when he was still a good actor.
This before or after Major League?
Before I think,
yeah,
isn't it?
just before, right around the same time-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Of
he
course,
did
yeah,
Baseball
I mean,
movies at the
listen-
same
listen.
time.
Listen, it will not supplant Major League in our hearts, but it's still a very good movie. Definitely worth watching. A very good
Yeah.
drama.
You know what? Underrated. Little Big League as a baseball movie. Little Big League, where the kids.
No, I'm not
Father-
buying it.
own
You know
their
the one I
guys.
like though? You know, the one that I consider underrated one? The Rookie, Dennis Quaid.
Oh, well,
I liked that movie. I
Dennis-
know it was kind of Disney-esque, but I liked it.
well, it was produced by Disney, so it's
Oh,
obviously.
well, that explains
it
the
was
whole Disney-esque
Disney-esque
feel to it.
because Disney.
Okay, I was
Dish,
not
you know.
aware because I was like, oh, kind of Disney-esque. That would explain it. But still, I liked it. It was a good movie. It was good. Underrated flick. Definitely worth watching.
Well, the only reason I say that is Little Big League. Every time I turn on MLB Network, it's on. So I'm like,
Oh,
I'll
for
watch
God's
it.
sake. What
Hey,
next?
Ken
Angels in the
Griffey's in it.
outfield? Jeez.
Well, hey, Tony Danza's in that. You can't. Let's not.
It's true. Watch your
let's
mouth.
not.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not go too overboard here, Lyle, because
Isn't
you
it
know,
Christopher Lloyd in that one too?
He was the main angel.
Thought so.
Um,
Yeah. I remember watching that
Danny
movie
Glover
half drunk and going, "This sucks." But anyway.
Danny Glover in that movie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays the kid.
Shut up.
Yeah, such
Yeah.
good actors.
No,
in
shut
such
up.
a bad movie. I'm sorry.
We're doing a podcast. Not good for audio.
No.
Shut up.
Shut your mouth.
Uh,
talking angels in the outfield. I can dig it.
Philadelphia phenomenon, Tony Danza.
Still like The Natural though. Robert Redford.
Yeah, it's a
That
good
one.
movie. Roy
That's still a good
Hobbs.
movie. Yes.
Roy
Yes.
Hobbs.
Boy howdy.
I like that the Caps drafted him. Roy Hobbs.
Wow. Listen, are we going to talk about Phil Kessel?
Give me a second, Lyle. We're
I'm
gonna get to the hot dog.
Okay. I was only wondering.
Actually, I just wanted to.
So much has gone down in the 2 weeks since we
Amazing.
since we
It's been
spoke.
great. I just want to mention that Vancouver is also firing their entire coaching staff, 75 assistant GMs, and the head trainer.
Yeah.
With that one, he's been here 20 years. Stu Gotts, you're out of here. See you later.
I gotta say though, the Vancouver media, for all the talk about how bad the Toronto media is bad, Montreal media, Boston media, New York, Philadelphia, horrible media. Vancouver, they're in a weird ass class all of their own, man. I mean, a year ago, Jim Benning could do no wrong. He was he's come in and he's going to fix all those mistakes that Pat Gillis made, and he's wonderful. Look at this wonderful coach that he hired, and look at the great move. Oh, Ryan Miller, what a great signing, Radim Verbata, yes, thank you, what a wonderful. And look at the kids he's bringing into the system. This is fantastic. A year later, what the hell's he doing? He's out of control. Good God, he's tearing this team apart. This is terrible. He's the worst GM ever.
Give this man an Oscar.
Honest to God, they're insane. They're batshit. I mean, Eddie. What started it was they only got a third-round pick for Eddie Locke. Oh, shock and horror. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh, this is terrible. Yeah,
Eddie Locke isn't that good, ladies and gentlemen.
Eddie Locke isn't a bad goaltender. Okay.
But he's not worth more than a third rounder.
Listen, they tried to get him for a second-round pick. I mean, Jim Benning said before he went into the draft that he was looking to get a second-round pick for this guy, right? This is what he's wanted to stock up on his draft picks. He held out, was hoping to be able to get the second-round pick, wasn't able to get it, so he accepted the third-rounder, okay? Not what you wanted to get, but still you got a third-round pick. In this year's draft, okay, nothing wrong with that. This is a deep draft, fine. That's when it started. That's when it just went batshit. I mean, I had people, Canucks fans commenting on my site going, can't believe what a horrible return. What the hell's wrong with this guy? And it's like, Jesus. He said going in he was looking for a draft pick. He wanted a second rounder. You know, he didn't get it. The market shifted on him a bit. He got a third rounder. Hey, happy, good stuff. Nope. And then they lost their friggin' minds again when he kicked out Kevin Bieksa. And what did he get for that? Second round pick, right? In next year's draft. And they lost their minds again. This is horrible. Oh my God, he didn't get anything decent back. It's like, guys, he shed $4.5 million off of your payroll for next year. Okay, they aren't going to be able to re-sign him, nor should they. No offense to Kevin Bieksa, he was with them for a long time. He was a terrific defenseman at one time, but he's very long in the tooth now. Okay, he's 34 years old. He's not that guy that he used to be. Okay, so they're going to have to move him out. You know, Danny Hamhuis and probably Radim Vrbata. Yeah, they're probably going to end up being traded by the trade deadline if the Canucks don't make the playoffs, and rightfully so. Okay, again, older guys, you're not going to be able to keep them, nor should you. Let them move on. Okay. Though, you know, all of this I think stems from the fact that I think the worst thing that could have happened to the Canucks was making the playoffs last year. You know, that was you know. Now, yay, at least Benning wasn't trying to make his team tank, wink, wink, like some teams do. No, he didn't do that. Not that tanking happens in the NHL.
No, never.
They've got a lottery system while it works.
Yeah, and it works beautifully. Actually, it does. Still like the fact that the Oilers got the first round pick and not Buffalo. Sorry, no offense, Sabres fans. No offense, Sabres fans. But I'll tell you, Tim Murray was thought so much about Connor McDavid, he was having wet dreams. You know, the fact you got Jack Eichel, you still got a great player. So, nah. But anyway. You know.
Listen, Buffalo fans, don't worry. I will tell you what room Lyle Richardson is staying at when he finds your fine city for the draft next
Absolutely.
year. So,
come on over. We'll have some drinks and we'll talk. But anyway, we'll have some of those fabulous. We'll have some of those wings that you guys are so famous for. Exactly. But that was the worst thing, though, was the Canucks made the playoffs because it ramped up the expectations. So when he turns around and he's trying to stick to his game plan of I'm moving out the older guys, I want to bring in some draft picks, we've got to restock this cover because, listen, he did a good job last year, but they're still short on young players. You know, they still need to bring in more young players, and they've got some good guys in their system, but they need to get more. You know, so it was a good move to do, but you know, but this isn't going to help the team at all. And it's like, you know, it's like, for God's sake, they came into this last year, and all last summer they were downplaying expectations, right? And they were doing. If you listen to Trevor Linden and Jim Benning this year, they're not saying anything differently this summer than what they were saying last summer. And last summer they were being applauded. Yes, this team's long overdue for a rebuild. Well done, well done. And I was like, what are you doing? You're tearing apart a playoff team. Are you crazy? You know, it's like, no, it's part of the rebuild. Relax. Everybody breathe. Okay, yeah, the Canucks might not make the playoffs this coming year. But you know what? If they don't, it's not the end of the friggin' world, guys, because you got an old team and he's trying to rebuild it as much as he can. Okay? He wasn't the guy who re-signed the Sedin twins. Okay? He wasn't the guy, you know, who brought in all these older guys. I mean, yes, he brought in Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller was a stopgap measure. Okay? Brought him in because he wanted to keep the team competitive. All right? He's done that. You got a good young goaltender in Jacob Markstrom. Scotty, you can back me up on this. I mean,
Markstrom's a solid kid. He's a solid guy.
Exactly.
But AHL solid. We'll see what he does in the NHL.
But he'll be a backup, and that's the thing. At least he's finally getting his, a full-time shot as a backup.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that move at all. But it's just, yeah,
You're going to have to move one of them.
Yeah.
And Eddie Lack is the guy that most people saw.
Well, because Eddie Lack is going to be a free agent at the end of next summer. You know, it was going to cost too much to keep him, especially while you got Ryan Miller there. There's other opportunities here. Markstrom's going to be more affordable. If Markstrom plays out like they anticipate, this could work out very well for them. If not, there's going to be other deals. There's other goaltenders you can get. This isn't the end of the world. You know, it's just, holy crap! It's like, you know, they turn the Vancouver media and even some they turn on a dime, man.
City, like the fans turn on a dime too. It's really bizarre, but I'm gonna put the cherry on top this way. Eddie Lack's gonna be much more hilarious in Carolina than he ever would be.
I like that move by Carolina.
Oh no, it's a great move by Carolina, but I don't like that they moved Anton Khudobin. I like Hudobin a lot.
But I guess, I guess
Yeah.
Ron Francis, he saw him for a whole season. I guess he didn't. I don't know though. Does this mean that he's going to keep Cam Ward, or does Eddie Locke become the guy? It'll be an
Big
interesting.
question.
It's going to make for an interesting season. Going to make for an interesting season.
Carolina is going to be a team to look at just to see what the hell is going on, because I don't
Yeah.
even think they know.
Well, I think Ron Francis knows what he wants to do, but right now too. I mean, the big issue is what you can do with Eric Stahl.
Yeah.
That's the big issue right now. Is he going to take less money on a shorter term to stay? Because if
Nope.
he doesn't, he's out of there. And I think he's out of there.
He's going to be out of there.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to start this off, and then Lyle, I'm going to set this one up for you. You've asked for it, so I'm going to give you and the people at home a great setup.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to set
Please
this all
do.
up.
I'm
so
not saying a word.
Everyone
No.
is back. So last week, Phil Kessel gets traded to the Penguins. This week, he eats a lot of hot dogs. Go.
Oh my God! Can I just say,
Could Steve Simmons be much more of a jackass than he is right now?
Man, and he is being eaten
As
alive.
he should be.
Yes, because listen, Steve Simmons, I've always known how critical he can be towards some element. I know he was never a big fan of Phil Kessel. He had his feuds with Brian Burke back in the day. He's definitely no fan of advanced stats. So you should like him for that, Scotty.
A little bit, I do like him.
Yeah, I know you'd like him for that. He's definitely no fan of what he mockingly calls the Corsi Hockey League. But that piece that he wrote about Phil Kessel after the trade, I mean, good God.
That's worse than the stuff that the Bruins were putting out.
Oh my Lord, yeah.
All the
That was
players
bad
that
enough about
departed there.
That was bad enough about Dougie Hamilton. I mean, I even participated in that as like hashtag smear Hamilton, I think was what it was, or trash Hamilton. I can't even remember what it was now. But it was just a fun thing that was started up by a Boston blogger, of all these different things. Smear Hamilton was what it was called. So my contribution was, Hamilton said "chow dare" instead of chowder. That's why they got rid of him.
Say it, Frenchie.
Yeah, say it, Frenchie. But it was fun, actually. Some people came up with some really creative ones. We had a lot of fun. And it pissed off Kevin Paul DuPont, formerly of the Boston Globe, which was even better. So,
Why are you doing this? It's incredible.
Yes. How dare you? He was a great kid. It was like, Kevin, we know he's a great kid, and that's why this is being done to throw it back at your compatriots who are running the guy down. But anyway, what Steve Simmons did to Phil Kessel, that is a classic example of a journalist who makes it too personal. He got too personally wrapped up in this thing. I don't know whether he was pissed off that Kessel was not very media friendly, what it was. Maybe, did Phil give him a dirty look one day or something? I'm not sure. But this went above and beyond. When I read that opening thing about the hot dog, and I love that Keith Olbermann's like, you fucked up when you make Keith Olbermann's worst persons in the sports world.
Well, Lyle, he's now fired, so we don't.
Oh, I know. He's done at the end of the month, too. But regardless, he goes out by giving us a wonderful hockey memory. Not once, but twice he slammed Steve Simmons because, it's the hot dog vendor. As soon as I read that, I'm like, you're leading with a fat joke. You're, again, with the shots about his weight. Which.
Well, we all know Steve Simmons is slight of flame. What's that? He's not? Okay, well, oops.
But it was just, there was no need. There was no need. I mean, if you wanted to say that, listen, the Leafs are better off without him, you didn't think he was a leader, you didn't think he was the right player to have in the room, okay, that's fair play. All right? No, that's totally fine, Because, listen, with Phil Kessel, it was not a cut and dry case with him. He's not. Most hockey players, can tend to be cut and dry. He is a complex dude. It really is. I mean, on the one hand, you look at him and he doesn't look like an athlete. He doesn't. And then till he puts the skates on. And then he's one of the fastest skaters in the league, led the Leafs in scoring 6 straight years. Every year he was with the Leafs, he led them in scoring. He was their best conditioned player in camp last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Little fact most people either didn't know or just chose to ignore because, hey, look, he doesn't look like an athlete. Have you seen the friggin' forearms on the guy? The kid's got friggin' pipes, I'm telling you.
No,
But
listen,
No, but I'm serious. I mean, no.
What? No.
No. But the point of the matter being, Phil Kessel might not look like the athlete. He may not look like the athlete of the day. His hand is just a little too wide. His head's just a little too bald.
Yeah,
But I'll
true.
tell you, he's one. Thank you. But he's one of the little throwback to Dusty. Rest
like
in
it.
peace.
Yeah.
But he is one of the best scorers in the NHL today, bar none. Bar none. Okay, in that 6-year period, there only a handful of players have scored more goals than he has. He's now going to a team. Oh my God! I mean, Sidney Crosby must be going, thank you, Jesus. Finally, an elite scorer to play on my wing or Malkin's wing. Regardless, pick your poison. I'm sure he's going to be great on both of them. But for Steve Simmons to just stoop to that level. I mean, it's rare you actually see a journalist, well, especially in the hockey media. I'm sure that happens in the other sports media far more frequently. You guys are much more, follow that a lot more than I do. But I've never ever seen that.
No, this was a
that
hatchet
personal.
job of biblical proportions.
Oh my God! I mean, there was no need for it. There was just no need. And to call a guy a poison, oh, he was a poison, and well, it's like our buddy Greg Wyshynski said. Well, at least he didn't call him a cancer.
True.
Yeah,
True.
give him some. Okay, we'll give you 1 point for restraint in that regard, Steve. But the thing that gets me. He goes and he leads off with this thing by saying, well, every day he goes and gets a hot dog. Well, first of all, who gives a shit? He gets so even if it's true that he got a hot dog every day, so what? But then it turned out that he lied.
In a big
Steve
way.
Simmons flat out lied, and you can thank the good folks at Pension Plan Puppets, the Leafs blog, because they did some good old-fashioned legwork, of the type that journalists like Steve Simmons are supposed to be able to do. And yeah, the place where he says that he went to get his hot dog was like a friggin' 32-mile walk one way, or 32-minute walk one way from where he actually lives in Toronto.
And the funny part about this is a Kemi who did this.
Yeah.
He doesn't even live in Toronto. He's in
No.
NorCal, and he's doing all this legwork and getting it done.
Yeah, exactly. And now people are saying, well, what's the big deal about it? Oh, about this whole hot dog thing. Okay, first of all, it's not the whole thing about the hot dog. It's the fact that here's a journalist who went out of his way to be basically, very politely, to besmirch, i.e. shit upon, a player that he didn't like after he's being dealt away. And he made it very personal for no reason, other than the fact that he just didn't like the guy. And so it starts up, but again, with all the insinuation, because that's what the whole metaphor of the hot dog is about. That Phil Kessel was slow, he's fat, out of shape, doesn't care, he's not in good condition, and that's the reason why he was terrible, even though he led the team in scoring for 6 straight years, was the best conditioned player at camp every goddamn year, and one of the fastest skaters in the league. He outskated friggin' Tyler Seguin last year in the All-Star competition. Okay, Tyler Seguin, pretty fast skater. Nobody would ever accuse him of, being slow-footed by any stretch, So it was just a straight-out hit piece, and now he's paying for it because the bloggers are holding his feet to the fire. Keith Olbermann is holding his feet to the fire. He got grilled about it today. He went on one of the Toronto sports stations and got grilled about it today, where basically it came across as just a very petulant, and very unprofessional. And I mean, hell, when he tried to defend himself in his Sunday column, it was the equivalent of saying, well, at least my mom thinks I'm cool.
Well, that's always good in defense.
Yeah, that never works out.
Yeah. But that's essentially what it was. If you read the line, he was like, "Oh, I check with my wife and my mother, and they don't think I'm the worst person in the world." Essentially, at least my mom thinks I'm cool.
It'd be great if his wife agreed with him, and then his mom's like, "Well, listen."
In this instance, Steve, a little bit, kind of, a little bit. There was no need for him to just make this up, to make it up. If he had just stuck with facts as he saw them, that he didn't think Phil Kessel was a good team player, they didn't think he was a leader, that he thought he was a bad influence on the room, fine, okay, fine. Valid criticisms, I think, you can definitely go with that. Nobody's faulting him for that. What they're faulting him for is for making shit up, for lying. Okay, and what he should be doing is apologizing, and instead he did this pathetic effort today on Toronto Sports Radio of well, my source, first of all, I'm going to protect my source anonymity, and then he tried to say, well, my source got the address wrong for where the hot dog vendor was, but he definitely saw Phil Kessel go and eat a hot dog from a hot dog vendor every afternoon wearing a toque. He went and got a hot dog every afternoon. Who gives a shit? He went and ate a hot. If he did, so what? He ate a hot dog every day.
Hot dogs are delicious.
Yes, hot dogs are delicious.
Street dogs.
Yeah,
Street dogs are.
It was pointless. It was done to put out there to say Phil Kessel was a fat, lazy pig. That's what it was. That's it. That was his way to lead off by saying he's a fat, lazy pig and he's out of town. A good riddance.
I'm a doctor. Jesus.
But he lied. He's been caught in a lie, and now he's trying to tap dance as fast as he can to get out of it. And I think if the Toronto Sun had any sort of journalistic integrity, they would basically apologize, but they won't, or suspend Steve Simmons, but they won't, because, so what? It's just hot dog, so what? Why is everybody getting all upset about this? So he said that he wouldn't get a hot dog. Who cares who got the hot dog from? No, it's not that. He made shit up about a player. What's next? Okay? What's next for the next poor sod of the Toronto Maple Leafs that Steve Simmons doesn't like? What sort of insinuations is he going to pull out of his ass now? Okay? As I said, I don't have a problem with him criticizing the way that Phil Kessel played or Phil Kessel's leadership, but that whole thing of, it's just, no, beyond the pale.
Don't worry, the William Nylander gyro story is going to come out in
Every day at 2:30, William Nylander sneaks out of his condo and goes and eats himself a delicious gyro before a game with extra garlic and extra onions so that he can breathe into the face of his opponents and make them wilt.
Exactly. Terrible.
I like that idea, though.
Stinky breath. Well, that's almost as bad as PK Subban saying that he eats stuff that gives him gas so he can fart in the face of the goaltenders in the crease. He was obviously joking, but hell, that'd be fantastic if it's true. Maybe it wasn't. Well, maybe a little bit of truth to it. A little bit of truth. Hey, took a rat. God, Scott! Oh, come on! Hey, wait a minute. That explains why Tuukka got so upset in the playoffs last year. There you go. When he deked him out of his jog, he farted in his face on the way by. He definitely would have made that save if it wasn't for breathing those noxious ass fumes.
Ass fumes.
Is that the name of a band, Mark? Let's look that up.
I'll check that one later.
Okay, I blushed.
Lyle, one last thing. Parting shots on Marty St. Louis.
Oh man. Well, I wasn't surprised that he decided to retire. I mean, it was definitely time. We noticed that this past season, and very much so in the playoffs. Definitely a Hall of Fame guy. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Wins the Art Ross, wins the Hart Trophy. Now it's called the Lindsay Trophy. 2 Lady Byng trophies, won a Stanley Cup. With the Tampa Bay Lightning. Won in the international level. Yep, and basically proved during an era when the NHL just thought that the biggest, slowest behemoths you could get, the better. He proved during that dead puck era that a small player can still be a great player. And definitely Hall of Fame guy. I mean, listen, the only real blight on his legacy, the way that his tenure with Tampa Bay ended, because of the whole initial snub for Team Canada. And again, my sympathies again were more with Steve Yzerman in that. I definitely understood why he had to do what he did. That was a little bit much, but still, it's like you talk to people who know Martin St. Louis, and they said, this guy had a chip on his shoulder his whole career. That's why he became such a great player, because he was always out to prove the bastards wrong. So he always kind of had a chip on his shoulder, and I think that's the only incident where you could say that attitude, I think, kind of worked against him. Wasn't the best thing necessarily for him that should have happened, because hell, look what he could have had, with Tampa Bay. Maybe if he'd stayed, maybe they could have had another. Maybe he might have been that missing piece. Who knows? But still, that's the only real blight that I could say. And I don't think, listen, in the long run, nobody's going to really remember that or make a big deal about it. They're going to remember what a great player he was, and he was a great player, and definitely a Hall of Fame guy, no question.
There we go. Couldn't put it better myself, Lyle. Thank you very much for your insight.
Sorry for all the rambling there and some of the pieces, but there was a lot to talk about, man.
had
This is
90
very
minutes
weeks
of stuff.
Yeah.
2 weeks of stuff to do, and we had 90 minutes to do it in, so we had plenty of time for you, Lyle. And next week's gonna be tough, though. Next week we need your rambling pants on.
Oh, I can. Oh, I can ramble, boys. You
Oh,
you
boy,
know me for over 10 years. You know I can blah like nobody's business.
Jesus.
Does he ever shut up? No.
Oh my God! Just shut up.
No. But he's good for filler. Definitely good for
Filler,
filler.
exactly. All
Fearless
filler.
Leathers. All filler.
All
all the
filler.
time.
All hot dogs. Filler hot dogs. Lyle, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a good week, guys. Take care.
There
Yep.
he goes. Leverage.
Hello.
SpectresHockey.net, BleacherReport.com, TheHockeyNews.com, and of course, P Island Guardian, Island Bridge. Go ahead, Mark. Give us our shout-outs for the week because you're the only Patanzo here.
I'm going to give a shout out to the bourbon that I've been drinking this evening.
Hey.
I can't remember what it was. It's
That's
not
a
Knob
shame.
Creek.
Fine.
I'll get back to you next week.
Get back to you know what? Post it on the
Twitter.
Twitter.
How about I just give a shout out to bourbon in general?
There you go.
Let's see. Shout out to Brittany's bachelorette. First bachelorette party, by the way. She has two. Her first one is this weekend, so I will not be around. I'm going to be out playing card games with friends, which should be fun. But cheers to bachelorette parties. I guess that's it. That's really all I got. And shout out to the All-Star game. Are you going to be watching the Major League Baseball All-Star game, Scotty?
No. I might. Actually, no, I'll probably be sleeping, so I'll wake up for the fifth inning.
Nice.
Because it starts at, 7? So by the time I wake up at around 11 o'clock Eastern time, it'll be in the fifth inning, so it'll be fine.
That should work.
By the way, 2 bachelorette parties? Really? Like, is that necessary?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Seems odd to me.
Well, one of them is like a flight to Disney with
Fair enough.
a bunch of friends, or with just the wedding party. I should say.
That's cool. That's okay. Then you know what? A pass. Like, I'm the goddamn ruler of everything. She gets a pass for that. Whatever. Well, that's cool. Awesome. First off, shout out Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Fantastic stuff there. Ran out of steak. It was so good. People are just running for the steak. They ran out of steak. So, I
Like
got
forever?
my-
Like all the steaks gone?
Done. All the done. It's
That's
a
so
steakhouse.
sad.
Steakhouse is just a clever name now. It's actually a salad bar. I'm kidding. Shout out to, of course, my new gig over at thesinbin.net. Thesinbin.net. It's .com. So we got ourselves something there. Now the fine folks there, Joe and Matthew and all the people there. So it's going to be a fun time. Go to sinbin.net. And believe me, if you follow me on social media, I'll be plugging this like a sumbitch. So don't worry, you'll be able to find all the stuff there. Shout out to Physicals, and shout out to not getting poked and prodded too much. Shout out Charmed Blow Pop. Don't know why, just do it.
Because they're awesome.
Exactly. Shout out U.S. Women's National Team
Yes,
winning
we can
the
do that.
World Cup. There you go. Way to beat them in the first 20 minutes. Way to make it quick.
Not 3, Japan 2.
Exactly. Well, listen. Not since. No, I'm not even going to say it.
No, don't do it.
They've been through enough. All right. Shout out Johnny P because he tried his best, but lo and behold, here we are. So, what can you do? All right, that's it. That's all. For Mark with a C, I'm Scotty Watts. Take care of yourself and someone else. It's been Face Off Hockey Show on faceoffhockeyshow.com, which is also our Tumblr. On the Twitter, Faceoff HCKY Show, and the Facebook, FOHS Radio, which you can see all of Johnny's great pictures from the draft days 1 and 2. How about that? He came to the second day. What a
How
fella!
about that?
What a fella! And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Next week is probably the first time we're ever going to speak to you again. That sounded really weird and sad.
The
Whatever.
first time
First time we'll ever speak to you again. Yep, I'm tired. I need to get some sleep. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So until next week, peace.